Welcome to the Boise State Game Pants Arena. Tonight we're going to be starting out our coverage of ECAC Rocket League up against Dallas Baptist University. Boise State is looking to continue on their winning season thus far. Have been just absolutely mowing through the competition. And we have a little bit of an interesting mix-up in terms of the lineup, so we'll see if the Broncos can't maintain their top performance. Overall, though, should be a great night with a lot of great talent to show off. I'm your host, Jacob Jem Palmer. Joining me is going to be Brenner Bear-Ladd to call all of the action for you tonight. And Brenner, we sort of have a little bit of a mix-up in terms of the bracket. Now, the Boise State team has 6 players that can rotate in and out, but normally they practice, in 2 squads of 3. So it should be interesting to see how these 3 players mesh.
Yeah, it's definitely something, like you mentioned, they can easily swap in and out, but they do practice in the sets of 3. And so having that swapping out, especially for a collegiate game, can definitely change the mindset of these players, but it's something that they have definitely trained for. So it will be, I believe, we are having a player swap out for Danger, but we are still sticking with the other 2 of our main squad for that roster of 6. And so going forward into this match, it's definitely seeing of, all right, well, who are we losing in this player, and how can the new player coming in match that, or maybe they might have to change up some of the roles just because of what they might be better at, which is something we see with a lot of teams whenever they do have a substitute.
Well, let's take a look at how the event tonight is going to work out. Overall, this is going to be the standard Rocket League that you know. It's going to be a best of 5, standard 3v3 soccer. It's going to be in competitive maps and Swiss format for the overall tournament, and the sudden death is determined by golden goal in overtime. Pretty familiar to what we've all know for Rocket League. And tonight, let's take a look once again at the matchup that we talked about a little bit earlier tonight. That's going to be Boise State versus a Dallas Baptist University. Not necessarily kind of one of more of those private schools, but we see a lot of talent where you might, from universities that might not have that big name recognition. So I'm going to be very curious to see how Dallas Baptist, how much talent they bring to the roster.
Yeah, they could be that hidden underdog where nobody knows the name, but their players can definitely be the standout thing to just be like, all right, time to, respect the name of just they came out and played and we weren't expecting it. So definitely some exciting things to hopefully look forward to from them.
And we're also going to take a quick look at the lineup, that the 3 players that we were teasing. You did say that there is a substitute in for Danger. That actually, according to my understanding, is going to be Lions. Usually plays with Cosmobuster in Baynock with one of our squads, but is still kind of a new player, freshman, I believe, to Boise State University. So we're seeing kind of a lot of new talent. If we were to take kind of what we would consider the new talent, the up-and-coming players, this would be it. So we'll see if they continue on the Bronco legacy tonight. But overall, those lineups are brought to you by Count. Count Identity Trust Global Network delivers real-time fraud prevention, account protection, and enables personalized customer experiences, more than 9,000 leading brands and payment providers. We can see it's going to be Gill, Instinct, and Lions subbing in for Danger. And to help these 3 players do their very best, we, of course, want to leave them with Doc's keys to the game before they get into their match with Dallas Baptist University. And those are going to be to set up play style, understand rotations, play to follow up, and sweaty comms. Of course, sweaty comms, for those of you who don't know, make sure you're using those comms for only the most important information. No idle chit-chat. Those are Doc's Keys to the Game, brought to you by Drop-In Gaming. Drop-In Gaming is the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you're new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. To begin your competitive gaming journey, sign up at dropingaming.com. We're going to get ready to jump into the first game really quick here, but having gone over the advice and all of the things these players need to keep in mind, Brenner, what do you think overall is kind of one of the most important pieces of advice these players can remember? What's the most important thing?
Personally, I think it would be map control, which allows you to have the boost control, which is why we see from previous games Boise State being so aggressive. If they're maintaining the ball on the other team's side side of the court. That allows them the whole free reign of their side of the map to pick up the boost and keep that aggression up. So once you start playing on the defensive, you're losing a lot of that advantage. And on top of that, having the extra boost allows you to get those demos, which allows you to just be that much more aggressive. So I think map control is going to be the #1 priority for both these teams.
Now, in Rocket League, when we see teams trying to fight over for that side control, we often see kind of a lot of ping pong back and forth. Are there any ways that you can kind of clear the ball to give you a better chance of maintaining that side control?
It would definitely go into the aerial side of it of you can only stay in the air so long because it's dependent on your boost. So you want to try to keep the ball off the ground as long as you can if you're trying to clear it to the other side of the map. But as we kick things off here with only the 15 seconds passing, you can already see on the side of the boost, it's kind of favored in Boise State with 2 players having closer to that max end.
We're going to see how well they can refill that boost. Gil was trying to make an aerial play there, but ran out of a little boost himself that wasn't able to continue on with that. We're going to see Boise State playing a little bit of defense right now. Still kind of close, though, to that center field. It actually looks a little bit like Boise State playing a little bit slower than they usually do, making a few kind of backflips here and there. It seems like they're kind of trying to feel out Dallas Baptist to see how they can play against them.
Yeah, because as you mentioned, this is a best of 5, so it could be one of the strategies for our team to try to, play slower, play safer on this first match and see what Dallas Baptist has to offer. So that way, if you do end up losing that first match, you have that kind of leeway space rather than being something like a best of 3 where you can give a match and learn a lot and then come into the second match knowing all the strengths and weaknesses of the enemy team and how to counteract it.
Boise State still maintaining side control technically here. Yikes is trying to make a play, but it looks like Instinct stops him midfield. Is going to get the double tap on this. Big money with a last-minute save. It's going to keep this tight at 0-0. Great shot from Lions there, trying to keep the side control. Boise State, though, looks like they got caught out there in their rotations.
Yeah, Gil was right there, but barely not able to save it. I honestly thought Boise State had that, but I think, once again, that came down to simply just didn't have enough boost to get there in time, burned through it. I believe it was one of the teammates picked up the 100 right in the corners and just simply couldn't make it in time. So good play by Dallas Baptist with kind of the long shot.
Gil elevating up, is able to get a tap on that, is going to hand it over to Instinct, who steals the boost away from Dallas Baptist. At least it's keeping Boise State's boost tanks full. Instinct tries to get a shot on goal, but just is a little bit wide to the right. Now looking for the centering. Instinct trying to leave it down there, but a great kind of disruption play from Lost is going to keep the Broncos searching for a goal. Lyons is going to play it off the backboard himself, get a double tap, but not be able to get the goal. But a follow-up from Instinct is going to find it.
Yeah, and that's the team play we want to see from Boise State. Even with a member out of the main trio that they're used to, they can still pull off those great double plays. And that's a thing we talked about earlier, is keeping it up in the sky allows them to have so much more variety in their plays and keep Dallas Baptist guessing on what they might do next. So definitely a great play by Boise State.
Instinct having to rotate back a bit here is going to pick up their own corner boost. Lost elevating up, not up high enough though. Ran out of boost, so he wasn't able to make that aerial play to stop Boise State. Boise State is going to have to try again though, nevertheless, for a clear. But Yikes steals it away from them. Quick shot on goal. Some great save by Gil. Might lead to a goal opportunity here for Boise State. It's just a little bit to the left. Follow-up by Instinct is going to put the Broncos into the lead.
Yeah, you can tell how Boise State kind of reenacted their play. Once again, they had Instinct and Gil right next to each other and having that follow-up play. As we can see that demo happening off the sidelines is now Dallas Baptist tried to go for a single shot, but it was just too high.
Instinct now is going to get demoed, giving Yikes just a little bit of opportunity to toss it over to Big. He's going to try to center it up for a shot on goal, widen to the left. Gil's now going to take that, drive it up the field with Instinct alongside in the passing. Yikes trying to stop it. It is going to be able to get a tap and allow Big Money to take control. Now Lions fighting in the corner. We'll see if Boise State can get their boost.
Yeah, it was a great intercept mid-air, no less. Finally, Dallas was able to pull that off. We've seen them so many times try to intercept in mid-air, but finally they caught up to it, having that boost, which is something we mentioned at the start of this. That boost management is so key, and with Boise State, the ball being so close to their goal, they have to manage that to the best of their abilities, and Lost having zeros giving them the advantage.
A little bit of a scuffle there, trying to gain control of the ball. Yikes is going to punt it way up into the air. So Lost doesn't get the tap that he was looking for, so it's going to go over to Big. Still looking for the clear for Dallas Baptist. Boise State still maintaining that side control in midfield. Lions is going to get a pass. So actually, nice shot over towards goal, but it's deflected over by Yikes. Now Gill setting it up for Lions. Yikes once again being a star defender for Dallas Baptist.
Yeah, you can definitely see who are the defensive players and who are the offense players for both teams. We've seen Lions most consistently staying by the Boise State goal when he needs to, and same with Yikes on the side of Dallas Baptist, but sadly it will not pay off.
A bit of an unfortunate own goal there, just trying to clear out the ball, and just the angle it took didn't go in Dallas Baptist's favor at all. And right off the kickoff here, Lions is trying to make a play. Big is going to steal it away, and it's going to go over to Lost. And quick shot on goal and another follow-up. Boise State is able to get away with that just by having someone in front of the goal.
Yeah, so at some point in time, you just have to physically body block it rather than always trying to intercept it, knock it out of the way. Just stand there and take it. Boise State played that to their best, and 3 seconds remaining, and Boise State seems like they're going to have this.
And just a little bit of a show-off goal from Instinct is going to do great for the Broncos, putting them to 4-1 for the first game, where Boise State is always looking for talented players and broadcast staff. If you want to get involved, then remember that it isn't just eligibility, but good grades, of course, can help increase your chances of getting added to the Bronco team. To get more information on how you can play in any of our games or join production, go to boisestate.edu/esports for more information. All right, it really seems like the Broncos, their main thing are, like you were saying, Brenner, those aerial plays that really helps the Broncos get those. It's a combination of having the boost to make the aerial plays that they like.
Yeah, that's one side we saw on the side of Dallas Baptist where they were lacking. They never had the boost to keep up because Boise State was playing so high up. They were practically on the roof half the time with how high they were hitting the ball and maintaining it at that height, which is where we see the advantages. Having the map control, having the boost means you can just go that much higher than the defenders. And then just for them trying to intercept it means they had no boost left when they fell back down, so they couldn't go for those defensive plays. So Boise State playing that very well. And at the same time, when we saw Dallas Baptist finally intercept those, they got the one goal that they had. So we know that once they have the resources to intercept that and they make it, they will capitalize on it.
Well, I think one of the main storylines that I was looking to see how it unfolded tonight was going to be Lions and how he kind of subbing in for Danger kind of worked with these other two players. And I think we saw a little bit of that in our first minute or two. The Broncos really weren't kind of playing as fast. They actually got scored on, went into giving the early lead over to Dallas Baptist. But it seems like things are working out just a little bit better for them. What do you think are kind of signs that teams are communicating well and really getting those sweaty comms docs keys to the game, really following through with that?
Yeah, as you mentioned, there was the first minute or so where it was that adjustment period of, all right, how does Lions fit in with our play style? We saw Instinct and Gills constantly being that aggressive duo that we know, and Lions just kind of hanging back, being the goalie. But once he realized that they had control of the ball on the enemy side of the court, he can slowly begin to step forward and be that third aggressive teammate that they needed, which Danger usually fills. And so that's why they just started slowly getting more and more goals. Right at the tail end, we could see Lions going flying into the enemy goal, trying to score himself. So it was definitely a slower adjustment period, but Boise State was able to capitalize on it with those sweaty comms, as you mentioned.
Well, now we're going to head into game two. We'll see if the Broncos can get another win here and push themselves to match point. After a slow few first minutes in the first game, they have rallied back to get the lead overall in this series. We'll see if they can keep up that performance.
Yeah, and already you can see Dallas Baptist is trying to do the same thing, but Yikes is still over in their goal as well, finally trying to break away, but as soon as he does, Instinct brings it back.
And I also got to say, Lost very low on boost for a sustained amount of time here is going to limit the amount of plays he can make. Instinct is going to get a clear pass. Yikes toward the open goal. Lost now fresh on the boost, does have it at just the right time to be able to rotate back and stop Boise State from scoring.
Yeah, you could see the setup play coming from Boise State. Lions was right in center waiting for that lineup, but knocking it away after the back bounce was a smart play on the side of Dallas Baptist, so that definitely saved them a possible goal.
Now, one thing that might want to look out for the Broncos, especially as all these shots on goal are going through for Dallas Baptist, is you kind of saw two double commits back-to-back there. Both kind of involving Lions there, so I don't know if all of those communication issues have been worked out, but it definitely seems like Boise State's still trying to iron out a few of the wrinkles as they go forward, as Lions is trying to set it up here for a shot on goal, but it's just in the corner. Gill is going to rotate in. Now Instinct tries to take control. Gill actually has to fill up on boost, so now that it's trying, the centering's going to try to go forward. Big Money trying to get it clear, but here goes Gill contesting with Yikes and is going to get pushed back over to the corner. Boise State still yet to find their first goal.
Yeah, he's barely off on that angle for hitting the ball and just managed to just continue going in the same direction rather than the bottom left of where he needed to go. And as we has 2 minutes in this match, a single goal has not been scored, so this is definitely going much slower than the first game, which tells me these teams are trying to get more at match with each other, as another attempt is there, but now a double intercept in the sky is going to stop that attempt.
Way back over to the corner, though. Boise State still maintaining the side control. Yikes is going to put an end to that, though. Trying to center it up for Dallas Baptist. Instinct contesting with Big Money, who actually just keeps going up the field. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but it allowed for a big push from the Broncos. Gill's going to try to turn that into a goal. Yikes lobbing it up is going to mess up Lions' elevation there. We'll see how he can recover those. Instinct plays off the backboard, plays off himself, and is able to get the first goal of the game.
Yeah, we saw Big Money initially miss the first interception, which allowed the ball to get so close to the goal, and then Instinct just capitalized on it, got the backboard play, and it was utterly fantastic. And you can just look at the accolades of how much Instinct is doing for their team, whereas Gill's just trying to be the support and Lions is being the goalie that they need right now. And another great attempt, but Yikes was there to defend it once again.
Back over toward the back post. Lost is going to now rotate up with the help of Yikes to make an offensive push here. It's going to be stopped by Instinct in the corner. Instinct looking for his clear. Up the wall. Yikes is going to get a tap on that. Ends up going to Lost. Back toward the Broncos goal. Lions going to have to save and leave it for Gill. Now Gill trying to contest with Big Money. Just a bit of a whiff there for Boise State means they're going to have to wait a little bit longer and play some defense before they can get their second goal.
Yeah, Gale had to knock the ball back into his teammate to go for the reset because there was just too much pressure on it. We saw the demo happen in the back line, but able to respawn just in time as Instinct once again gets another goal. Yikes was there with the setup, but sadly was beaten by the defender.
Big Money now with a big shot toward the goal that Gill has to save from. He's able to do that. Instinct just misses that pass, though. Gill goes into the corner. I actually don't think Boise State was able to steal the corner boost there. Both two members trying to get the goal flew over it, and allows Dallas Baptist to collect it, make their own aerial plays, and now Boise State's left defending again.
Yeah, we can see once again Boise State capitalizing on the aerial plays. We saw Gill come flying in right before Yikes could even hit it out of the air, or where we see that boost advantage. Just looking at the boost right now is two members are above that 70%, whereas all three members were below 50 for a solid 10 seconds there. Is Dallas Baptist not really prioritizing the boost as much as they are having just ball control, but they get scored on anyway.
And unfortunately, by the time they did get the boost there, I don't think it was a problem of boost there, just probably reaction time, as Gill came in very fast there with a quick shot on goal. Instinct with another shot on goal right off the kickoff is just going to add to a Bronco landslide.
Yeah, we're at 1 goal, and now we're at 3, and it's 30 seconds left in the match. So Dallas Baptist is not looking too good here. They're going to have to come out swinging. Game number 3, even if they do get a goal here, it's going to be the pressure on for them.
Instinct leaving it. It looks like he was going to leave it to the teammates, but Yikes took control of it instead, giving Dallas Baptist a little bit of side control that's quickly going to be negated by the Broncos as the timer hits 0. Nothing really that Dallas Baptist could do at that time since there was so little time left on the timer. But overall, the Broncos now at match point, and you know we've covered boost management, we've covered the aerial plays. Is there anything else that you think the Broncos are doing right now to kind of give them that advantage over Dallas Baptist?
Outside of the things we've already talked about, there's hard to mention that. I mean, they've adapted very quickly to how Lions has been playing for them. They pretty much said, all right, you're going to be goalie, and once you get accustomed to that and how we're going to take on the Dallas Baptist, you can start stepping forward and being more aggressive, and he definitely has stepped up and matched that. And if we look on the side of Dallas Baptist, I think one thing that they really need to fix is their boost management. We constantly bring up Lost, who's 9 out of 10 times below 50, sometimes even at 0 a lot of the times, of just not having the boost. He's not trying to save it up. He's always using it as soon as he gets it, which is a bad thing because when he needs it, he never has it because he already used it to get there. So it's a huge issue, which can also play in part with positioning on the field. We've seen multiple times cutting around the camera between the players is 2 will be on the ball, 1 will be really far away for Boise State, but then for Dallas, it'll be 1 on the ball, 2 really far away, so they can't really contest the pressure from Boise State. So I think that's something that they should address going into Game 3.
We'll see if they can do that, sort of clean things up a bit, and at least drive this to a Game 4, as Baptist was able to get a goal against Boise State early on in the first game. So they have some plays that they can make. We'll see if they can pull that off as we are ready to head into game number 3, Boise State versus Dallas Baptist University in ECAC Rocket League. Boise State currently has that undefeated history right now in this tournament, so we'll see if they can continue on. It looks like they're well on their way to doing that with a 3-0 sweep. So Boise State, now one thing I did notice though is we are seeing a few double commits from Boise State. You know, do you think that's just a thing that's continuing to be ironed out as we move forward, or is it something that Dallas Baptist could use to their advantage?
I think that's definitely something that they could use their advantage, but it's something they're going to have to start matching, because something I touched on earlier was they're usually matching that with one player quickly followed up by sometimes a second player, but it's never 2 at the same time, which is what Boise's doing a lot of the time, which allows them to have a lot of great passing plays. You know, if one person misses the shot, there's always a second right behind him to get the rebound and get the shot on goal, which is what we've seen Boise do multiple times, whereas on the side of Dallas Baptist, it's usually one after another, not usually side by side or barely staggered. They're usually staggered by a fair bit, and it once again plays into the boost management of they just can't keep up with each other because they don't have that map control that they need like Boise does to constantly have the freedom of picking up the boost charges. And at the same time, Boise State has been executing a lot of really good plays and passes. You know, if, as I mentioned, one player misses the goal shot, one's immediately there to get another shot follow-up on goal. And so that's one thing that Dallas Baptist, since they haven't been able to counteract the air plays from Boise State, could start trying to go for demos to take out players on the ground that are going for, you know, the follow-up play. But instead, Boise State's just going to kick things off.
Yeah, they start things off pretty well there. Not even 20 seconds into the match, they already have their first goal. Instinct's going to go and try to dribble it up to get another kind of solo play goal there. It's not going to happen. Lions now with the more traditional follow-up to center. Unfortunately for him, he's going to head under the ball. That kind of gives a little bit of opportunity for Dallas Baptist, but it seems like they're really struggling to get any sort of clear there, as they only manage kind of an attempt to slow ball out to midfield, which quickly gets pushed back by the Broncos.
Yeah, Lions went from goalie to being the 50-50 goalie. Is the ball's not allowed to leave their side of the court, and that's kind of been his job, and he's been executing on it pretty well. And of course, as I say that, the ball goes over to the Boise State side only for the 5 seconds, but now Instinct with no boost, make sure to prioritize getting the 100 and then going after the ball.
Lions elevating up there is going to win that 50-50 against Dallas Baptist. Gill is going to run right into Big Money in midfield. Ball still has a lot of verticality, but no team has really been able to take control of it quite yet. Now Big Money making the play, starting to advance into Bronco territory. But Lions and Gill there, fortunate for them, I think Lions was just kind of falling back, and Gill decided that he was going to take control of it instead. Not really quite a classic double commit there. Overall, though, Broncos managed to get side control and looking back to get their second goal.
Yeah, Lions tried to stop the ball's momentum so it would stay in front of the goal so his teammates could go for the shot, but the momentum could not be stopped, sadly. But Gill, once again, denying the ball control over to the side of Dallas Baptist and bounce it off the head of one of the defenders and gets it in.
That's the second time, kind of an awkward angle for Dallas Baptist University. Kind of contributes to an own goal there. That's a great sheet off the kickoff, though, from Big Money. He's going to be looking to pass it over to Lost. Can make a shot there, but quickly Gill picks it up And right back toward the blue side of the field, Dallas Baptist playing defense yet again. Lions with not the best tap there, leaves it open for Dallas Baptist, and Gil's going to pick up a save there. Now trying to look for a clear.
Yeah, Big Money's actually been on 0 boost for the past 10 seconds. Finally picks up a single small pad, but that's the thing that Dallas Baptist needs to be working on, is keeping an eye on their boost, because that allows them to contest these aggressive plays coming out from Boise State as another demo comes out onto Yikes.
I think it's definitely been improving as they move on here. I haven't seen quite as many droughts so far. You can see Lost there and Yikes pretty fast on refilling their boost gauges there. So they're able to match Boise State a little bit better than that. I just sort of think that maybe it's just a little bit more of a mechanical issue right now. Like, they're not quite getting the angles or taps that they're looking for when they get the clear. They're not really having too many shots on goals that are that accurate.
Yep, but they are playing a very much stronger defensive game ever since those 2 first goals have been played. We haven't had another goal since essentially the first minute of the round, and as we passed that minute 3 heading into the last 2 minutes of the game, they've been playing very well, but the ball's still on their side. Yikes is trying to clear it over. He only has 1 member of Boise State in front of him, which is Instinct, so he had a chance.
Gil's going to rotate in, though, provide a bit more defense, trying to deflect Big Money, and a very clutch save right there. Just a very nice angle off the crossbar to allow Boise State to gain back control. Yikes playing it off the wall. That's a nice clear with the pass back over to Yikes from Lost, but taken away by the Broncos. I like some of the plays that I'm seeing Dallas Baptist try to attempt here. It seems like the Broncos are taking it away from them too fast, and Gil picking up some much-needed boost there.
Yeah, Boise State has been able to counter a lot of these Dallas Baptist pushes, and I think that just speaks to the skill of our players, even when having a substitute. This is why they practice in trios and why they've been able to execute so well, just being 2/3 of their initial roster, or they're still able to execute on so many of these plans. As another demo is coming out here, Boise State is constantly taking out members of Dallas Baptist.
Now we have just less than a minute. The Broncos look to end this in pretty good time with a 3-0 win. As it goes past 30 seconds, I would say that it probably becomes a little kind of out of the range probably for Dallas Baptist to score, especially with that awkward play we just saw there. Kind of both players waiting around for 5 seconds for one to make the other move. For Dallas Baptist, that's a bit too passive considering you don't have a lot of time and still need to get 2 goals.
Yeah, that was actually a very good demo attempt coming out from Boise State, but it was also a very good denial, just simply jumping over the car, which is something we have not seen on camera. So that was a nice little change. But Instinct finally on 0 boost, and Dallas Baptist getting very aggressive. Almost had a shot on goal. It was bouncing right in front of it. Yikes goes for it. Big Gil's there for the deny. Pressure's on Boise State right now, but time is not in Dallas Baptist's favor, and Boise State takes it.
Boise State looks like they have found the way to keep their undefeated record intact. And all 3 of these players, despite the substitution in from Lions early on, looks like they played very nice, keeping the Broncos' name in high esteem as it comes to ECAC Esports, and will go on with the victory there, 3-0. One of the sponsors, Boise State Esports, is the Idaho Army National Guard, and they invite you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. So overall, now's the time when we can look back a little bit here, Bear, and try to see who we're going to name the player of the game. What are your top who's your top nominee?
I mean, it has to be Instinct, just because of out of the 3 games we played, he always had the most accolades. He was always getting the shots on goal and making most of the goals as well. Oh, and if we take a look on the side of Dallas Baptist, I would have to give it to Yikes with how well they were being the defensive player and sometimes even the aggressor as well. They were definitely the top 2 players of each team.
I would say Big Money also made a few good plays that caught my eye as well. But overall, we are probably going to give it to one of the Broncos 99% of the time. And in this time, it is going to be, looks like we have Instinct, like you called out, going to be getting player of the game.
Yeah, he was that perfect all-around player that we've seen from him consistently over and over again. And in this matchup is exactly a perfect showcase of that. And even with having Lions, they were able to adapt and keep up that pressure. And I definitely think Instinct might have even taken the lead there with how many accolades he had above everybody else. As we take a look at this replay, we can see Gil even had one more than him at a time, but he does have those 2 goals under his belt. So well done, Instinct.
Instinct is your ICCU Player of the Game, brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like Idaho Central is helping members achieve financial success. Instinct is going to be your Player of the Game for Rocket League tonight. Overall, as we're prepared to close out Rocket League for the night, Bear, do you have any final takeaways that you want to bring up?
Dallas Baptist, good job. Work on your boost management, and especially Lost, because that's one of the ones we were watching you the most. And Boise State, even being down a member, is able to capitalize it and adjust to it. So good on them. All around, some good Rocket League tonight.
Well, that's going to do it for Rocket League tonight, but you're going to want to stay tuned because a little later tonight we will be bringing you Overwatch. So we'll see if the Broncos can keep the momentum going from what the Rocket League team left them. That's going to be for us later tonight around 7. So stay tuned to the Boise State Twitch page. For now, we're going to leave you with the top 5 plays from this game, though, brought to you by the Idaho Army National Guard. Again, we just talked a little bit about them. 10 jobs, $20,000 bonus. Lots of great opportunities from them. So, again, be sure to check them out. For now, though, that's going to do it for Rocket League. We'll see you in Overwatch in a bit, and enjoy your top 5 plays of the game.
Definitely a great play by Boise State.
Instinct having to rotate back a bit here is going to pick up their own corner boost. Lost elevating up, not up high enough though. Ran out of boost, so he wasn't able to make that aerial play to stop Boise State. Boise State is going to have to try again, though, nevertheless, for a clear. But Yikes steals it away from them quick. A bit of an unfortunate own goal there, just trying to clear out the ball, and just the angle it took didn't go in Dallas Baptist's favor at all. And right off the kickoff here, Lions is trying to make a play. Big is going to steal it away, and it's going to go over to Lost. And quick shot on goal, and another follow-up. Boise State
can even hit it out of the air, or where we see that boost advantage. Just looking at the boost right now is 2 members are above that 70%, whereas all 3 members were below 50 for a solid 10 seconds there. Is Dallas Baptist not really prioritizing the boost as much as they are having just ball control, but they get scored on anyway. Follow up on goal. And so that's one thing that Dallas Baptist, since they haven't been able to counteract the air plays from Boise State, could start trying to go for demos to take out players on the ground that are going for, you know, the follow-up play. But instead, Boise State's just going to kick things off.
Yeah, they start things off pretty well there.
10 seconds, finally picks up a single small pad, but that's the thing that Dallas Baptist needs to be working on, is keeping an eye on their boost, because that allows them to contest these aggressive plays coming out from Boise State as another demo comes out onto Yikes.
I think it's definitely been improving as they move on here. I haven't seen quite as many
to face. I need to find my purpose again. It's been hard to keep my composure, and I really wanted to be over. In a sense, in summer race, we come back swinging. When it all comes crashing down on us, stand your grounds. Faith is something that is really hard to find. So take it on yourself and keep your head up straight. Brighter days will come, so you better be prepared. When it all comes crashing down on us, crashing down. Vision is clouded. It feels like we've been aging faster. I feel so secluded. I really wish that things got better. It's been hard to keep my composure, and I really wanted to be over. In a sense, in summer race, we come back swinging. When it all comes crashing down on us, stand your grounds. Faith is something that is really hard to find. So take it on yourself and keep your head up straight. Brighter days will come, so you better be prepared. When it all comes crashing down on us, crashing down.
Enjoy your top. Good evening and welcome to tonight's Mountain West coverage of the Mountain West Spring 2022 Overwatch Championship. If there is one tournament that you are going to want to pay attention to that's Overwatch related for collegiate level, it's going to be this one. We have great rivalries, great teams, and a great history that we are ready to tell to you tonight. I'm your host, Jacob Jem Palmer, who is going to bring all of the action for you tonight. I'm also joined by Brenner Bear Ladden. And Bear, I just have to say, this is... I am so excited that we're doing this tournament again because we have had quite the history in the Mountain West Overwatch scene, which mainly boils down to Boise State versus UNLV. Tell us a bit about this rivalry.
Yeah, it's a rivalry that's been going on for quite a while. We've fought them in actually a plethora of games that we've just constantly gone back and forth on. And so now with the return of the Mountain West series in Overwatch, no less, with now a newer patch that has changed very little, it is some exciting things to look forward to, especially as we're kicking things off. And we're not even casting a Boise State match first. We're casting a UNLV match first, so we get a look at our competition of what we have in store for us this season.
That's right. Tonight we'll bring you a match with UNLV and a match with Boise State. So kind of the two teams people are looking towards will kind of get a first glimpse of how they are going to be competing for this spring semester. If you look over here on the desk, we have got what it is all about, the championship trophy as well as the championship ring for Mountain West Overwatch. To give you kind of an example or an idea, Boise State has won it. They are the defending champions for this semester. We're going to take a look back at last year's tournament and see what got Boise State that trophy. Again, that is what both these teams are fighting for. Boise State has the one from 2021, but UNLV were the champions in 2019 and 2020. So let's take a look at what has led all up to this tournament. Let's take a look back at the grand finals for 2021 and show that match between the Broncos and UNLV.
Jedi, there goes a huge shatter onto Fresno now. Can the follow-up get them down there? Worked out. Well, Plato certainly not thrown off there by taking out Seguru and Sliver as well. Boise State, look at that shot, though, onto Tracer there. Both teams are still even at 5. There's the pick onto Seguru. Goblin getting a double, coming through in clutch with a triple for Boise State. That is a huge hold there. Now here comes Boise State trying to even it back up. Oh, look at that double diva bomb.
Only Fresno State does the same thing as we get that Riptire to start.
Whoa!
And a huge double kill. Who's going to come out, plus a two-man shatter onto both tanks for UNLV. They'll both get booped off the edge. Arma's got to hold on to it as he hit a huge rocket barrage.
That's going to be a double onto Wild Wing and QWERTY through the windows here. That barrage there is going to pick up a double, and they're going to burn their Blizzard for nothing there.
Ticking fairly low. There's the EMP going to land on the 5. They'll trade off 1 for 1. QWERTY's the next one to be taken out of the mech. He'll get burned down as well.
Going to be using, they're bringing out the Nanoblade combo, but he gets hit with the Sleep Dart. Being able to hit that Sleep Dart onto the Nanoblade itself, who gets taken out by Plato. Fresno State has a huge barrage coming through with a double there from Goblin. Not by a flame strike though, but Pelt evens it up by taking out Shishame. Now Bully Hunter and Robin also eliminated. Boise State is still 1 up, now 2 up in this fight. It isn't overtime. They focus down to Guru. That's it, Broncos. Using that primal rage from QWERTY there. And there goes the Diva back. Boise State, you have taken down Goliath. You are the Mountain West champion.
State of how insane that match was. That was a best of 5s, and it went down to the final stage in control. It was basically tied 2-2, Boise State, UNLV. These two teams were so evenly matched, and Boise State at the very end got their first Mountain West championship. But you know that UNLV is going to want to be fighting back to get their title. They've won it 2 times before. It's going to be insane to see how they start off this season. What do you think UNLV mainly wants to do as we're going to be getting into their first match versus Fresno State?
I mean, I think they want to probably come out swinging, in all honesty, because they're coming from being the second place and winning the 2 years prior to that. They have stuff to show. They need to show that, hey, we're coming back stronger than ever after losing our 2-year streak, essentially. They want to reclaim that and get the ball rolling again. So they need to really show aggressive and show how they got to the second place in the FUR at all. So I definitely hope to see them come out swinging, but at the same time they're going to be thinking, all right, we have to play a little reserved because this is the first rounds of the tournament, and at the same time we're sitting here casting their match as Boise State, so obviously we're going to be nitpicking it apart, saying like, all right, so when we do get to the grand championships again, hopefully, how do we beat them at what they do best.
Well, it's going to be a showcase of both of the top two teams, UNLV first, then Boise State. Taking a look at the matchup tonight and how this event overall is going to work. This is going to be UNLV versus Fresno State, which isn't someone we should count out either. Fresno State is a very great regional rival to Boise State in the Mountain West, so this is so exciting to see kind of one of the top two teams competing against another great Overwatch team in their own right. So we'll see who gets the first win and starts the spring 2022 semester off with a lot of momentum. But let's take a quick look at how UNLV can get off to a great start, and that, of course, is Doc's keys to the game, which apply no matter if you're competing for Boise State or not. No matter who you're fighting for, Doc's keys to the game will help you out, and that's to never take a fair fight. That means to take fights in unexpected places when the opposing team is unprepared and when you have ability advantages. Those are Doc's keys to the game, brought to you by the Mountain West, who is bringing you this tournament tonight. Mountain West has had a great history, actually brought some showcase matches for Boise State, if I'm not mistaken. That was kind of how our program got, one of the ways our program got started out was the showcase matches that the Mountain West hosted. We're going to be jumping right back into the match right here to see how UNLV does against Fresno State. Let's get into the action as we start out on Legion in Garden.
Yeah, one team went with the Sim Beam, the other one went for the Echo Mercy strat.
Now it looks like Red is going to be getting the first win. That's actually going to be Fresno State, it looks like, taking the point first against UNLV. Of course, we see a couple familiar names for UNLV. One that we don't see right now is Silk Carpet. He was a very clutch Doomfist, just DPS player that was really great at flanking support. So we'll see how UNLV can adjust with that roster change. Right now, Fresno State pushing up to the choke point here up over the bridge. But it looks like UNLV is trying to flank them with this Wrecking Ball, who's going to be able to take out Jet. KCV also eliminated. Pretty Humor picking up a double, is going to make that a triple. And UNLV looks like they fought back and is going to win their first engagement, taking the point for themselves.
Yeah, a great plan executed by UNLV. All eyes were on QWERTY for that, as they were getting, I believe they got a quad out of that because Says had their duplicate up, but they were taken out kind of early on, even with the Pocket Mercy, which just shows how hard Fresno State was trying to focus down that Echo, because they know Echo can be such a carry of the team. So now opening things up with the mines.
Yeah, great sticky mine there, sticky bomb there from QWERTY Humor is gonna all keep their kill streak going with a double. Hertz and Karma not to be counted out themselves, also picking up 2 Jad and KCV. Now Robin and Silver are going to be eliminated with great work by Hertz and QWERTY. And it really seems like it's been these mobile champions with the hero, the Tracer and the Wrecking Ball that's really making UNLV a very fast team to fight against.
Yeah, if they had a Lucio, I'd be just that much more terrified with the speed they've been able to just run over Fresno. As we can see KCV taking that QWERTY.
They're going to be using that photon barrier, splitting up that point for themselves. Looks like a copy from UNLV is actually going to go out onto Silver. So that, and isn't going to be able to charge up the sound barrier as a result of that. Jet taking out that copy. KCV trying to get a few snipes up into the air as Robin throws out that self-destruct. Isn't going to pick up anybody. Hertz is going to be the first one taken out by Fresno State, and that one pick just might be enough. UNLV is going to fight back with the Gravitic Flux here. Robin is taken out of their mech as Jad, Justice, and now KCV in a huge play by UNLV's Echo turns the tide back in UNLV's favor.
Yeah, the Sigma had the perfect setup with that Gravitic Flux right through the window, picked up those 2 members and focused the one that did not get picked up as we zoom in on the beautiful spray of the Wrecking Ball, who's just got so much chaos for Fresno State. So many ults were used. We're going to be looking for that Deadeye to try to take out how possibly the Echo Mercy combo or the Tracer as well as the Amplification Matrix, but they're going to need to get on point quickly.
And another double sticky bomb there, pulse bomb thrown out by QWERTY. Sebzi also keeping up the pressure. The DPSs are tearing into Fresno State. That minefield also not allowing Fresno State to really touch the point that well. Those that do are met with the symmetric car wash as Robin falls. That's going to be the first win for UNLV, who is looking like they are starting out this season with force.
Yeah, they were able to cut off so many of those rotation points from Fresno State. They always kept going through the right side of the indoors to not have to deal with the aerial bombardment coming out from that Echo. But now going into a much more wider map rather than the rotation around, I expect to see probably another sim brawl coming out from Fresno State, because they seem to do very well with it initially, but as soon as they lost it, they weren't willing to swap off of it, which is what you need to do with a sim brawl comp after you lose that first fight.
Yeah, it's usually the opening rally, if you will, the race toward the point to see who can get that teleport first. We're going to see how that works out for both of these teams, if both of them indeed try to go for that initial race. And I see, yep, it is going to be the race to see who can teleport faster. UNLV, look at Svepsi starting out with a double hurts, following that up onto Jad. Fresno State is now going to go down 3-6, and UNLV looking like they're not going to lose anyone here, and tearing through Fresno State and picking up the point for themselves.
Yeah, sticking with the Echo Mercy combo has been working out so well for them compared to on the side of Fresno State, who are still sticking with the sim brawl even after losing the point. Finally getting control of it. And so all the eyes on Fresno State are going to be on KCV to take out the Tracer and the Echo, as he doesn't really have any other help to help him with the anti-air and the Tracer. Heard that caused him so much issue in the last match. So now he has to go up against the Symmetra fighting on point, so he's going to need help from Bacon Strip.
Well, that's a great start for KCV, taking out Allure, getting rid of that pocket for UNLV. They're trying to push onto the point where they're having to deal with all of the stuff that's being set up by QWERTY, who is going to be taken out by KCV. That's a double. Now they're able to throw out their own turrets. A huge shatter being brought out. Looks like that's canceled out, though. He's taken out as he uses it. Fresno State pushes back onto the point, and we've got a match here.
Yeah, that was a hard loss for UNLV. We saw the shatter. You could hear the voice line, and the death comes right afterwards. It's what you hate hearing as a Reinhardt main, especially a shatter, which is such a game changer. They didn't have any barriers, and now even the solo Deadeye for the solo Echo is just the disrespect. At least they have the Mercy res.
Well, yeah, they do, but that Mercy Res isn't going to be available for this team fight now, so still bleeding the resources away from UNLV, who's going to use what resources they have left, the Amp Matrix and the Photon Barrier. 2 Photon Barriers instead across the point right now, splitting it up, and this Reinhardt just going to swing his hammer through those shields and get a triple for the Rebels, who managed to get their team kill, it looks like, and are going to be back in control.
Yeah, and UNLV, look at the ult economy. They still have 3 ults in their toolkit. Fresno State only has the amplification matrix. UNLV used exactly what they needed. They used the Photon Barrier and the amp matrix to just burn through what Fresno State added, which was just their Photon Barrier, and now they're still sticking with the Symmetra, whereas UNLV is going over to the power.
We're going to see self-destruct and the copy be brought out. Already picks up KCV. You're going to have to watch out for this shatter, too, as Sesvi might just go up to their spawn, let it charge up some more, get right in their faces. Okay, I want to see this play out. Oh, they're going to have their copy run out. Would have been a nice play, but overall for UNLV, still a great performance.
Using all 3 of their ults was definitely not needed, as they got a team wipe very quickly. The duplicate was great. The Diva Bomb wasn't really needed, didn't get the eliminations you wanted to see from it, and they're still sticking with that sim, but they finally swapped over to the Tracer.
That's a great charge there. Karma's going to be credited with it. There goes self-remech onto Robin, who's going to gain back all of their health. We're going to see the Amp Matrix be brought out by Bacon, but it's not going to do him too much, as QWERTY's just going to fly right over them, and especially with Karma being res, UNLV has the advantage fighting over the point. It is just a matter of time, and the Rebels look like they're going to claim their first victory here on Leash on Tower.
Yeah, shoots the swap over to the Faro and made the difference in that final fight. UNLV actually got down a couple members, but the members of Fresno State that made it through were at half health bars. They didn't have the support and weren't able to maintain it.
Yeah, Idaho Army National Guard is a proud sponsor of Boise State Esports, and they invite you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. You know, Bear, what I found so entertaining about that, toward the very end, it seems like UNLV was saying, okay, we're happy with this strategy of these airborne heroes like Echo that is just going to pelt Fresno State with damage. So we're just going to double down on that, bring out the Pharah and the Echo to just have terror in the skies.
Yeah, that puts a lot of pressure on the Mercy of UNLV, but she performed phenomenally and kept both of them alive to the best of her abilities. But then as soon as she lost one, she could just put all of her utility into the one, and then they would just excel so well. We saw that the tail end with QWERTY on the Pharah was being damage boosted by the Mercy the whole time, and was just single-shotting a lot of people with those direct impact rockets.
UNLV, like I said, two-time champs of the Mountain West tournament. One of the top two teams that you are going to want to watch out for. The other, of course, being Boise State. And we're taking a look at both of them tonight to see how they start off their season. We're about to head into the second match, UNLV versus Fresno State. Now we move on to hybrid, if I'm not mistaken. That most likely means Kings Row. We haven't necessarily seen any sort of teams change things up in that regard.
I mean, it's the old faithful. Everyone goes back to Kings Row. It's the one they have everybody in the world has the most practice on.
Ooh, changing it up.
Eichenwald is a map that we practically never see. If anything, I was kind of expecting maybe Blizzard World, because I've seen that kind of very often. But Eichenwald is a map that is very open and will play into the hand of UNLV going the double aerial especially until the third point. But that puts a lot of pressure on Fresno to try to... if they're defending, getting to the third point is a terrible thing, but that's where they're going to excel the best. And if they're attacking, going into double aerial, UNLV has to be very ballsy to defend with double aerial, if anything, but they could do it.
I don't know when's the last time I've actually been inside the castle. It seems like we rarely see Eichenwald, and when we do, it's usually just held to the first point, it seems, because the team's already on a snowball. But I like the play from Fresno State, choosing kind of more of an off-meta comp. Maybe they have some strategy that we're not quite aware of. We'll see if they can take down the Rebels as we're ready to head into the second game.
Yeah, maybe they took a note from Boise State off Kings Row of just, here's our really wacky strat that most people haven't thought of and might keep, take you on your back foot and could win them the match. I mean, anything is definitely possible on Eichenwald, which is the map, as you mentioned, is so rarely played that could definitely throw teams off.
Well, if the color coordination isn't lying to us, Fresno State's going to get the first push on attack. So wanting to get at least one tick, get at least the first point here. I want to see the rest of this map.
Yeah, they got the Hanzo and the Cold Cassidy, so they definitely have the damage output to burn through that Reinhardt shield, but now UNLV's going to have to play a little bit further back, taking no aerial DPSs this time around.
Yeah, that's quite a change around. Fresno State might have a little bit more of a better time not dealing with those aerial heroes.
Yeah, and as QWERTY gets the first elimination onto Silver in the back line, things are definitely looking up for them already. So once again, all eyes are going to be on QWERTY, who's that high-speed DPS just harassing the back line, but this time he does not have the Wrecking Ball to help him, as Hertz gets the second elimination onto KVC, so no DPS on the side of Fresno means they're already having to go back to spawn.
Not only that, not only is UNLV already charged up a couple of their ultimates, but it's going to be put a further dent by Fresno State, who's forcing to swap over. They're going to bring out the Junkrat right now. The only thing Fresno State is going to have is the Amp Matrix, which charges so fast it's basically a guaranteed for almost any engagement anyway. So UNLV looking to have the advantage here.
Yeah, especially with that D.Va going into a Junkrat, they'll be able to eat so much, and now starting things off with a great three-man shatter against Fresno State, and an anti-nade to follow that up leads to the elimination of Silver, Bacon, Jad, and that's practically a team wipe. There it is.
You know, you usually try to watch out for what are you going to combo with the Earth Shatter to make sure it's a UNLV ace, but brought to you by Boise State, if you will. But
that was our ace. We did that.
We'll take the credit. But yeah, you're always looking for what's going to combo with the Shatter, and the anti-nade combo beautifully.
Yeah, so now the Nano Blade's going to come out and lead to a three-piece there for QWERTY. He, as we saw the swap over to the Soldier as well, but seems it was not enough.
Now you're looking at what is UNLV going to have, because Fresno State is starting to charge things up. They're going to be
if not this engagement, they're going to have their Shatter, and they're going to have the self-destruct. The also very crucial thing that you're going to want to opt for is that Sound Barrier now coming online for Fresno State. That's kind of their negate for some of the more damage-heavy ultimates from the Rebels.
Yeah, so now Fresno's going to kick things off with that amplification matrix, and UNLV will be smart enough to just line inside of it, but match it with the rally, so they're going to try to turn around and go for the aggression as Fresno throws out their Diva Bomb. Instead, Party will just go straight in on the baby Diva. But Hurts coming out with a great Diva Bomb onto 2 members, quickly followed by Says with the double dragons, and that's another team kill for UNLV.
I mean, that's just really gotta bite. You save up all your ultimates, and then UNLV with basically the one ultimate they already have and the one that just came online during the fight, just using those 2 casually, getting a team wipe for Fresno State. It really seems like the Rebels are doing such a good job here.
Yeah, so now with Fresno going into this next attack, a great heat flashbang to take down the Ryan shield and try to burn him down. Wasn't not able to keep him out, but another shatter coming out from him will only land onto Robin, as now Silver's going to come out with the side. Another great anti-nade going onto both tanks and KCV will lead to the elimination of Silver from Says. So that's another DPS. That seems those sides were not enough, but now Robin's going to be able to take down Says. Charge in the backline, trying to disrupt the Deadeye. Will not even lead to an elimination there as Purdy takes down Justice. That's the main heals down for Fresno State, and they're going to have to answer with a Sound Barrier to just get on the point, trying to get at least 1 tick. But now Purdy's coming in with the Nano Blade to take down Jad, as well as Bacon Strip as the Double Dragons come in to take down KCV. That is the end of the Fresno push, as just the Tracer is remaining.
The Shimada brothers combo tears apart Fresno State's hopes and dreams. The Rebels do a complete hold against Fresno State here, and QWERTY just doesn't want to get stopped. It's going to finally be a flashbang ending their chances. What a hold by the Rebels. My goodness, that was almost painful to watch. And I think Bear, the main thing I noticed there was Fresno State really wasn't able to make space for themselves. They got caught under that choke point, under that archway so many times. It made it so easy to line up the anti-nades, line up the shatters, line up the self-destructs.
Yeah, it was definitely a huge issue, and at the same time, they were able to capitalize on it with QWERTY, who we were watching a lot of the times. As soon as they would push through, he would dive right into their backline, know his targets, the Baby Diva, Justice on the Baptiste, sometimes the Lucio, or even KCV, who was their main DPS for a lot of the time, and then we would see Cez with the Hanzo taking out Silver no matter what hero they were on. So UNLV definitely has their target priority in lock.
Well, okay, what did I tell you at the beginning, Brenner? I told you we rarely see Eichenwald, and when we do, we only see the first half of it. So it looks like stepping foot in that castle is going to elude me again. Just probably too rich for my blood. I just can't get in there. Too much of an exclusive club. We're stuck in the village right now.
Yeah, so now UNLV just has to get the first tick on the point, I believe, and that'll be it. So UNLV is going to have a very fun time, and all the pressure in the world is on Fresno State to try to hold them at the archway. But already through the silhouettes, UNLV has the Echo again, which Fresno State was not able to answer consistently on the Zhang Tower.
I'm also going to be interested to see how this Roadhog works out. If UNLV is already a team that's been terrorizing Fresno State's backline, and a Roadhog couple well-placed hooks, I worry for Fresno State sports.
Yeah, sadly, they did not stick with the Roadhog, though.
Oh, okay.
Another day you asked for it, and they're like, nah.
See, I asked for the second half of the stage, they don't give it to me, and they don't give me the Roadhog either. I'm just not getting what I want.
Yeah, but a great early pick coming out from QWERTY against Bacon Strip. Him taking out that secondary support and kind of third damage, if you ask me. He quickly followed by Hertz taking down KCV, as well as the Reinhardt getting a two-piece onto Jad and Silver. Cez taking down Justice. QWERTY finishing off Robin. That's practically a team wipe, and that's the game in less than a minute.
That is an insane performance by the Rebels. We were wondering what UNLV was going to show up tonight. Was it going to be the two-time champion UNLV? And I would say that definitely looks like that is the case. They are playing for keeps, already at 2-0 at their match point, ending hybrid in one of the fastest matches I've seen.
Yeah, and I guess that's why whoever picked Eichenwald did just because it went so quickly.
Right.
They couldn't get past the archway, and then when UNLV was on attack, they just took the point in their first push. You know, they had that target recognition, and surprisingly, Fresno State played very far back. You always saw UNLV holding right up against that side door of the archway, and this time Fresno State was all the way in the back and just let UNLV push right in. Cordy got the first pick onto the brig, and that was it.
I mean, you know, it's the classic formula of let Rectangle Man walk through the choke and you follow behind with behind that shield, but it seemed like that just kind of eluded Fresno State. They weren't able to get past the choke. It lined up so many ultimates for UNLV. And it's going to bring to the question of what stage does Fresno State now choose in terms of Escort, because we saw their choice on Hybrid not go so well, so what can you bring out on Escort to turn things around?
I mean, if you're Fresno State, you want to avoid Havana because you'll never get to the first checkpoint because UNLV is going to capitalize having that aerial and just free reign of the sky. So you want to go something more indoors, more protected, maybe something like Dorado, just so you can contest that high ground with something like the Diva and the Winston and get to the aerials just that much more quickly. So I would hope to see something like Dorado, which is something here at Boise State we see a lot of. Any other maps you would like to add to that?
I'm just thinking, you know, I would also kind of say if you don't want to get held to the first point just because of aerial play, then Junkertown probably isn't going to be your pick either. It is going to be Havana. They're tempting fate. They are tempting fate. They want to go out with glory or not play at all.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard fight for sure. I expect to see possibly a handful. I mean, if UNLV really wants to have fun with it, they could easily, if they're defending first, that is, they could easily also go for like a Torb and just try to go for some shenanigans with how strong they have had this showing against Fresno. And if they are an attack first, they could also just not go for the aerial plays because they want to maintain the cart pressure and take down the side of the defense of Fresno State and just try to push it all the way to that third point, which would be a miracle in itself because it's so hard to get that final third point on this map.
Well, here goes the Rebels against Fresno State at 2-0 already, starting off their season with a bang. We are going to see how well they can do as we're ready to head into Havana. Again, starting off the Mountain West Spring 2022 season is starting off with probably one of the most forceful starts that UNLV could have dreamt of, completely holding Fresno State before that first point on Eichenwald. Do you think, you know, we've been talking about so much about what UNLV can do to hold Fresno State, but what's Fresno State, if they just want to get to their first checkpoint, what's their first plan here? As actually we are not going to Havana, it looks like the similar architecture has thrown us off and we are instead over to Rialto.
So Rialto is much better for Fresno because they can play to more of those environmental eliminations early on. It's going to be much harder to take down that Echo Mercy combo that we could hear just from the audio cues of the UNLV defense. So for Fresno State, they're going to want to try to target prioritize that Echo Mercy combo that has caused them such grievances. They've tried to burn down that Reinhardt, and it just simply hasn't worked in the past. And now it seems they're going to stick to the Sigma 1v1s here as well. So they're looking for those environmentals with that Roadhog hook as well. But pushing past this point very quickly, you're going to lose out on that.
Okay, shout out to Fresno State. You did bring out the Roadhog. I respect you very much for that. I hope
made
you
the
get
caster happy.
I hope you get some picks now. Please get some picks. Looks like he's trying to flank out that Ashe there for UNLV. We'll see how that works out as we see Karma right now just throwing out a few orbs, getting some shift damage against Fresno State, who has managed to round the first corner just using the natural cover of those buildings and the payload to help them push through, not get sniped out here. It seems like we have kind of the deadlock combo with the Cassidy and the Ashe being brought out. UNLV gets their first toehold, being able to take out Silver and Justice. Robin KCV also to follow. That's a full reset for Fresno State.
Yeah, Cordy winning the Ashe 1v1 there, so it's definitely going to be a battle of the snipers on top of Justice being on the Ana. But Fresno State's also going to have to recognize Karma on the Zenyatta has the damage potential and the Discord Orb, which is probably most of the time going to be on that Roadhog just to burn him down that much quicker. So UNLV definitely has that target priority along with Hertz on this Wrecking Ball, just causing so much chaos in the back lane. A great hook!
That is just what I wanted from Fresno State. Great start off. Hopefully they can get that payload moving again.
Going to be wanting to watch out for UNLV, though, getting another ultimate online, the Valkyrie, and now Bob, everyone's favorite. Not quite a full hero, but still can make his presence known on the field. And instead, they're just going to mow him right down. They don't want him to be a hero. They don't want him on the stage at all, Fresno State. Birdie Humor with that dynamite is able to take out Michael. I guess some trade back and forth from their mercies. And now Jad is going to be eliminated by the Sakar. Hertz also taking out Silver. Robin able to trade it out by taking out the Echo, but still looks like probably a soft reset. But UNLV wants to kind of try to pinch them in from behind here, and it's going to be successful. Birdie picking up a double. Accretion going on to their Sigma and taking him out as well.
Yeah, UNLV won that team fight only committing Bob. Now they have the rest of their 5 ults, whereas Fresno State never used anything to try to stay alive, and now have all 6 of their ults going in. So if this next team fight, they don't use a single ult, things are going to look very bad for them, because you want to commit at least something to start this push-off, and a pick like that is how you do it.
They're going to keep that going by using their Valkyrie, so they've at least used 1 ult. UNLV going to take a mulligan on that, and res Birdie Humor. There goes the Gravitic Flex, going to catch out a lot of members of Fresno State. They're going to bring out the whole hog in response, and a res back onto KCV. Fresno State is managing to stay in it, and more ultimates are trickling out, as well as the Transcendence and Valkyrie from UNLV, whereas Fresno State still has their Deadeye and their Bob. We also hear the copy be brought out onto Roadhog, and it's going to be the whole hog brought out by Sebzi, picking up Jad and turning that into a team kill.
Yeah, at least they were using their ultimates as something we've seen an issue in previous tournaments with other teams, so I'm glad to see the ultimate usage was there, but they didn't commit everything, which is perfect. Fresno State still has both their DPS ults on top of UNLV, still has the mines to cut off the rotations, and now opening things up with the Deadeye is going to zone out UNLV's, which allows Fresno State to start pushing forward. They just need to take that space and not contest the second story, because that's where they die every time.
Hertz was waiting to flank them, and is going to be able to flank the Roadhog and the McCree. Probably going to go on point, maybe try to throw out the minefields on point. Just do not touch this area at all. There goes a res onto Silver, still saving that minefield. Birdie and Karma getting a pick there. Spevzi answering that back, but it's not enough. Fresno State doesn't even touch the point, so they can't get the payload moving. And what a hold again from UNLV.
Yeah, Fresno State tried their best, but we saw at the tail end of that, they were actually fairly split. This is even a replay of the final end where the Cole Cassidy and the Roadhog went right onto the Sigma on the stairs and didn't even acknowledge Hertz burning down the Roadhog. He didn't even turn to try to shoot him or just be like, hey, I'm being shot from behind. He just focused the Sigma and still died anyway. So Fresno State definitely not having the target acquisition that UNLV has, because UNLV says, all right, here's our target, go execute them, and they do within that second, whereas Fresno State kind of playing that individual level of, all right, everyone go take your 1v1s, and they're losing that because UNLV has the team play mechanics.
Now the Rebels need to go only a very short distance, and they will have their first win of the season. And overall, Fresno State is going to have to mount the defense of a lifetime if they want to stay in the running here.
Yeah, so now with Fresno State on the defense, they're going to have to try to match the UNLV of how aggressive they were, and with that target prioritization. So now we can already see they're sticking with that Colt Cassidy that really hasn't made a huge difference for them, but they're swapping off the Ash over to, I forgot who it was. I saw it for 2 seconds. But they're also bringing back the Sigma, who did work out for them pretty well. Both teams were running a Sigma. UNLV did capitalize on theirs, but they're going to have to have an answer ready for this Wrecking Ball as they just rotate right around him.
Oh man, they're just going to flank out that Wrecking. Look at the Wrecking Ball from Fresno State taking on UNLV all at
and
once.
That's something we talked about. Their target priority. They have 4 members to take down 1 of Fresno.
That is insane from UNLV. Looking like they're just going to push the payload to the final parking spot before their full flank can go through, and when it does, it's just going to be the final nail in the coffin for Fresno State. The Rebels looking like they want to reclaim their championship title with force. They're here to play, and they're going to get their first win of the season.
That's the showing you want to kick things off for the Mountain West of your second play. Is from last season. So UNLV, well-deserved win. Fresno State's got a lot to work on for sure, but that gave Boise State a pretty good idea of what to expect.
Not quite a 5-0, but it sure feels like that with how one-sided it might as well have been. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Fresno State did their best, but the just absolute commitment, and I want to say dive strat, as much as that wasn't a dive comp from UNLV, of just saying, all right, Wrecking Ball, here's a 4v1 right out the gate of the first, 10 seconds from them, was just a joy to watch.
Well, the thing I was thinking about UNLV is Will Silk Carpet return. He was the star DPS for UNLV for so many years, and we have some new DPSs for UNLV who certainly made their presence known. They're looking like they're going to be great replacements in their own rights. And just talking about all that skill, it brings us to the player of the game. Anyone you want to nominate?
I mean, my definitely go-to is going to be Qwerty on that DPS role. They were playing the Tracer a lot of the time, occasionally the Echo, but they were the big playmaker. They were the Ash at the tail end on the defense with that bobble that just pretty much stopped Fresno State in their tracks for that attack push. But at the same time, I want to highlight the Mercy because they were the backbone of the team. Without that Mercy, UNLV was having an uphill battle a lot of the times because they needed that pocket Mercy for both aerials. So I think it has to go to one of those two players.
But don't you forget Sevsvi, who was on the Echo and was a terror in the skies, managed to get so many copies, be such a pain for Fresno State that I would definitely be willing to give it to him as well. But overall, we're going to have to see who the final choice is. And an ace is definitely going to be in play. It is going to be Qwerty who picks it up.
Yeah, as we look at the replay of Eichenwald, Qwerty on this Genji was uncontested for so long. He would just dive straight into the back line with this Nanoblade, as we can watch, diving into their spawn practically, and getting a triple outside of the spawn gate is very impressive. So hugely well-deserved. And on top of that, when we were on Lijiang Tower with the Pharah plays, he was hitting most of those rockets as direct impacts and getting almost instant kills with them as well. So very well-deserved by Qwerty.
Well, Qwerty's going to be the player of the game, brought to you by us here in Boise, Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes the team more successful, just like Idaho Central is helping members achieve financial success. Qwerty is your ICCU player of the game for this particular match. UNLV, well, one half of the rivalry, we've seen that they are a top skill and ready to show up to play. Now we are going to move to the other half of the rivalry, the defending champions, Boise State University. You can see them taking the stage there, getting ready for their first Mountain West tournament match tonight. It's going to be great to see how they do. But before we get to that, I think we're going to take a little bit of a short break. We'll join you at the top of the hour 7 to see how the Broncos are going to answer back a performance like that from UNLV. So you're not going to want to miss tonight. The Mountain West Overwatch season is here. You're going to want to see how it turns out. We'll bring you all of that action after this break. Out that copy. KCV trying to get a few snipes up into the air as Robin throws out that self-destruct. Isn't going to pick up anybody. Hertz is going to be the first one taken out by Fresno State, and that one pick just might be enough. UNLV is going to fight back with the Gravitic Flux here. Robin is taken out of their mech as Jad, Justice, and now KCV taking out Allure, getting rid of that pocket for UNLV. They're trying to push on to the point where we're having to deal with all of the stuff that's being set up by Qwerty, who is going to be taken out by KCV. That's a double. Now they're able to throw out their own turrets. A huge shatter being brought out. Looks like that's canceled out, though. He's taking. The only thing Fresno State is going to have is the amp matrix. It charges so fast, it's basically a guaranteed for almost any engagement anyway. So UNLV looking to have the advantage here.
Yeah, especially with that D.Va going into a junker, he'll be able to eat so much, and now starting things off with a great three-man shatter against Fresno State. And an anti-nade to follow that up leads to the
flank them. And is going to be able to flank the Roadhog and the McCree. Probably going to go on point, maybe try to throw out the minefields on point. Just do not touch this area at all. There goes a res onto Silver, still saving that minefield. Qwerty and Karma getting a pick. There's Fevzi answering that back, but it's not enough. Fresno State doesn't even touch
for 2 seconds. But they're also bringing back the Sigma, who did work out for them pretty well. Both teams were running a Sigma. UNLV did capitalize on theirs, but they're going to have to have an answer ready for this Wrecking Ball as they just rotate right around him.
Oh man, they're just going to flank out that Wrecking. Look at the Wrecking Ball from Fresno State.
lovers turn to strangers, but they stay fools. I'll break the chains, take the pain to save you. Save you. Baby, I've been high and low. All the feelings I won't show. It's better if I let you go. You'll be better off. 'Cause I got second guessing every shot. I won't lie, no I won't lie. I'm free but now I'm lost. Freedom comes at a cost. I won't lie, not this time. It's better if I let you go. You'll be better off. Ain't nothing we haven't tried. I'll sing you one last goodbye, and I won't think twice. So, ready or not, I'll go. I'm setting you free for sure right now. Don't ask me how.
Thought I had her in a lucid grip, that I'd take my time. She keeps calling and she just won't quit, and we all know why. Screws tried to lure me right into an affidavit. Remind me as I'm falling and I'm out of time. I'm caught up in your tongue, they say. You claim that you love me, but it's just another play. I'm stuck inside your room all day. You say it's for my safety, but I'm just one of your prey. She's got a gun and a bag and she's waiting for you. She has the time to decide how she's gonna kill you. You can keep running, keep your eyes wide open, but you never see it coming, no use. She's got a gun and a bag and she's waiting for you. She's got a gun and a bag and she's waiting for you. Hidden kisses always felt so sweet that they left me blind. Making promises we just can't keep, and it felt so right. Screws tried to lure me right into an affidavit. Remind me as I'm falling and I'm out of time. I'm caught up in your tongue, they say. You claim that you love me, but it's just another play. I'm stuck inside your room all day. You say it's for my safety, but I'm just one of your prey. She's got a gun and a bag and she's waiting for you. She has the time to decide how she's gonna kill you. You can keep running, keep your eyes wide open, but you'll never see it coming, no use. She's got a gun and a bag and she's waiting for you.
Welcome to the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena, and welcome to tonight's opener for the Mountain West Spring 2022 Overwatch Tournament. We have had a great history in this tournament, with Boise State always being a top competitor trying to fight off regional rivals like UNLV. We started off tonight by showing you the UNLV side of things. Now it's time to see how the Broncos perform and if they can make a great opening statement as the defending champions. My name is Jacob Jem Palmer. I'm going to bring you all the action tonight. I'm joined by Brenner Bear Ladd to talk about this Overwatch match. Boise State is going to be opening up, going up against Hawaii. And overall, what can you tell us about Boise State's history in the Mountain West? Because it's quite a story to tell.
I mean, yeah, we've talked about this with the UNLV. They won the first two, but we were always in second place right behind them. And then this past year, we finally took the championship from them. And now we are looking to reclaim that. And this is the first week of it, so there's a lot to show and a lot to prove that we still got it after coming out of the fall season. So it's a lot to look forward to, because Mountain West has always been such a story of rivalry between those two teams.
And if you look on the desk here, we actually have what everyone is fighting for, the championship crown for the Mountain West Overwatch Tournament. Boise State currently the defending champions, with both the trophy and the ring to show for it.
and we're going to see how they open up tonight. UNLV, their greatest rival in the Mountain West, started out very strong in their opening season match. So will Boise State put on a performance tonight that is worthy of that trophy that you are seeing right now? We will find out very shortly. But let's go over how everything is going to work tonight and the general rules and state of play. This is going to be a best of 5 in Overwatch maps that are going to follow Control, Hybrid, Escort, Assault, and then another Control match with a different map that was the one that was played in round 1. It's still 6v6. We can also get a look at the opening lineup here, see Boise State's Overwatch lineup. And is there anyone that you kind of want to call attention to, any star players that we should be watching out for, Brenner?
I mean, most consistently for ICCU player of the game, whenever Boise State has played in the past, has been Kel, our off tank. But I also want to draw attention to Matt Merck, our new main tank, actually, who started recently, and during our showcase match against New Mexico performed very well. Was more than happy to cast that match and see how well they were performing, especially on that Wrecking Ball, which I'm looking forward to. And also on the side of pretty much our whole roster, we know that our DPS of Gob and Max will do very well. And then same with our supports of Chosen and Bagel. A large Bagel almost always going to be on that Lucio, determining when the fight happens, how quickly we engage in it, and keeping us alive with that sound barrier. So all notable players for sure.
Well, that opening lineup is brought to you by Count. Count Identity Trust Global Network delivers real-time fraud prevention, account protection, enables personalized customer experiences, more than 9,000 leading brands and payment providers. That's the opening lineup, and the one other thing we have to get to before we jump into the match tonight is going to be Doc's keys to the game in Overwatch to give the Broncos all the advice they need to win. And in Overwatch, that's to never take a fair fight, and that means to take fights in unexpected places when your opponents are unprepared and when you can have ability advantages. Doc's keys to the game brought to you by Drop-In Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. You can play and win prizes through free and paid entry matches, whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran. Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you to begin your competitive gaming journey. Sign up at dropingaming.com. Ready to head into the first match. Still waiting on, what the opening stage is going to be. Just getting the specifics of that are going to be coming through the wire very soon here. And it looks like we are going to be starting out on Oasis. So not a start on Legion like we saw in UNLV's match. Kind of a nice change of pace, if you will.
I mean, to say the least, is Boise State's probably tired of Lijiang Tower with how often everyone has played it. Hopefully that's the case on Hybrid with Kings Row.
If we're tired of it, imagine the people actually playing.
Very much so. But Oasis is a nice change of pace. We've seen Boise State excel on Oasis multiple times, and I think that's definitely something that they've refined a lot. I definitely am hoping to see Doomfist Winston kind of hybrid dive-ish sort of come to be able to run into the face of the enemy team to win these points and continue that momentum forward to hold them at a point that they're not so much as comfortable with, rather than just holding on the point and fighting on the point the whole time. So definitely some exciting things to look forward to. And also possibly on a couple of the maps, we could even see a sim brawl come out here, because Oasis maps do favor a lot of those Symmetra turrets being able to place in multiple spots, as well as a Cole Cassidy, occasionally an Ashe or Reaper will have a sighting. So definitely some exciting things to look forward to on Oasis of all picks, which was a pleasant surprise.
You can see the Broncos all waiting there on stage. We are ready to bring you this match live as it happens. Just waiting for all the final OKs to go through, and then we will be happy to bring you that match. But overall, we're talking about Oasis. Let's kind of go over kind of the three map choices that can come up in Oasis. Which one do you think we might see first? Or which one would the Broncos want to see first?
Good question. My go-to would ideally be Library or Gardens, because they allow for a bit more open space higher up and don't have the central pillar right in the middle blocking a lot of it. They either have the elevated ground so you can shoot down, or they have the hole in the center to knock people out of the point to allow you to win it just that much quicker, which is where we could see something like a May come into play as well. Whereas on the third and final map of Oasis, with the giant pillar in the center, which is where so many people prioritize, the elevator off to the side of the point to get to that high ground and maintain control, can lead to a lot of issues for rotations of the teams and also where to hold them at their spawn, because there's the two main entrances from their spawn to the point, which is where a lot of teams just are constantly running back and forth, holding each other, not allowing access to the point. So I think going with either the Gardens or the Library will be the better choice for Boise State, especially with going up against Hawaii, which is a team we have not seen a ton of in the Mountain West. So we will have to wait and see what their play style might look like.
Well, just to kind of get an overview of what we can expect, this was the match that we covered a little bit earlier, Boise State's main rival, the one that they've joined in the finals year after year after year, UNLV, and UNLV had an insane opening performance tonight.
Yeah, the Scientific Flex is a perfect example of exactly that, going right through the wall, setting up his teams to get a ton of kills, and Sevi came in and did exactly that, quickly followed up by the double photon barrier wall with the amplification matrix, and this Cole Cassidy is shutting down the Symmetra as well. It was a fantastic showing in these three maps, which were very dominating performances, and I just want to give personal respect to Fresno State for choosing Eichenwald for their hybrid map.
Yes.
It's just something we never see, and it's such a joy to watch, even if they got shut down at that archway. It was just a nice change of pace, and I hope Boise State does the same thing and maybe even goes Blizzard World, because anything else other than Kings Row is nice change of pace.
It didn't quite work out for Fresno State here, but yeah, UNLV definitely been a top competitor. In the past three tournaments, it's always been Boise State and UNLV in the finals. UNLV won in 2019. They also won in 2020. And then Boise State are the defending champions for 2021. It was quite an upset. It went all 5 games in the finals to the very last stage on controls. Both these teams were fighting back and forward really fiercely, and the Broncos are going to be entering into this new season with some new players. Like we mentioned, Matt Merck. We'll see how he kind of joins the overall mix. Boise State is going to be going up against Hawaii. And actually, Maxwell is also a recently new addition to the Broncos, joined them in the fall semester. So 2 very good players that we've gotten to know over the fall semester. We're going to see how they do in their debut in Mountain West Overwatch territory. It is going to be insane and very fun to see how Hawaii fights against the Broncos. So do you have any other thoughts in relation to the Broncos and some of the strengths they've brought? We've talked a lot, about Matt Merck and some of the DPS for Boise State, but what about some of the supports that the Broncos have?
Yeah, so I definitely touched on that when we brought up the team lineup, and definitely something that I tried to highlight when I casted our showcase match against New Mexico, which is one of the first times we saw this Overwatch team together for this winter season. And it was definitely a great thing to keep an eye on, because they were playing on Nepal as a kind of pseudo dive team, with Chosen being kind of the main support and a large bagel sticking to that Lucio that pretty much works in every single comp. Chosen we're going to see probably most likely on the Baptiste for this first map, which is exactly the map I thought would be the last pick for the start of it, but I guess they don't really have a choice on that end of which 3 of the maps for control do they get, rather than just, it's Oasis, so one of the 3 maps of Oasis. But definitely highlighting a lot of the players of what we've seen in the past and where they can go. We have a ton and a huge roster for our Overwatch team that we've seen in the past of, Nerdy Bird, Ace, who of previous supports and off tanks that we've had. So going into this matchup up against Hawaii, I expect this team to do as well as they always have, because it's still very much the core group of players. But Hawaii coming out the gate with an Echo, trying to poke, and Matt Merck on that Wrecking Ball, doing very well to cause as much harassment as they can. They're also going to bring out Plato on the Reaper.
And we'll see how Boise State can do if they can get the point in the first engagement.
Yeah, so already a ton of early damage being exchanged between the tanks, but Matt Merck is going to get first blood up against River, taking down their main heals of Ana, quickly followed by Maxwell getting a 2-piece, winning that Tracer for 1v1 and taking down the Winston, as well as Say on the Echo, make that a quad and a team kill in the first team fight. Boise State coming out swinging.
That's insane. What a way to start off your season, start off the first engagement with an ace.
Yeah, so now Hawaii is going to have to try to come back from an ace in the first team fight. You know they are going to target prioritize Maxwell to hell and back because he just got a quad in that feed, and they know he might be the win condition for Boise State as he takes down Death Choke on the break once again. First blood, and now already Matt Merck with the mines right into the backline, killing Cell, and Chosen taking down River, Kel taking down Maxwell, getting another 1v1 against Aka, and Plato taking down Nap. So already that wasn't a team wipe, barely by the respawn timers, but Boise State looking very good.
And they're going to have this Transcendence online for this next fight, going to kind of try to negate any damage Hawaii tries to push.
Yeah, we saw the Pulse Bomb come out for Akami from Hawaii. Sadly, it did not land in, so that will be negated. So one less thing Boise has to worry about. But Maxwell's going to answer it with his own Pulse Bomb onto River. Both supports going down. Akami finally able to take down Plato, so Boise State loses a single member, but make sure to answer that by taking out both tanks and making Hawaii go for another reset.
The only thing that was probably a bit of a boo-boo that I saw there was Plato kind of committing that Death Blossom out there, and it really didn't pick up anything. And at the time that it was used, it was kind of, it would have been just kind of more of a win more ultimate. So Chosen getting a pick there, that's going to be a good start off, but Boise State might just want to be a little bit cognizant of when they use their ults.
Yeah, they only got remaining 10%, so they just have to keep Hawaii off the point. The Diva Bomb attempt from Cal with 1 HP remaining as he remix, living dangerously. He was soloing the break in the backline though. Oh, so Hawaii does their best to get onto point, getting so close to capping, and that has to be a 99% cap. And they even get it. Boise State not able to return to the point in time. Will end up losing that percentage, now having to find a point. Gets the D-Mech on the Diva, will even get stuck, but Kel does survive. The Transcendent's going to have to come out to make him survive. Recaps the point. Now the rally coming out for Hawaii. Tries to get to point. Death Choke will not be able to make it as Plato takes them down. Boise State does take it, but they let Hawaii get 12%.
You know, the one thing that I kind of felt like was when you're trying to install something new on your computer and it gets up to 99% and then hangs there for like 10 minutes. That's what it felt like, Hawaii trying to take the point here. But they were able to do so pretty well.
Yeah, so now heading into the second point, hopefully they will be able to rotate to that point much quicker and not have as much pressure on them right out of the spawn gate, which is what Boise State was able to apply to them on the previous map. Bit harder on this map of Oasis.
Yeah, does Boise State necessarily go on to the same Wrecking Ball? I would assume with how good Matt Merck is on the Wrecking Ball, you can get so many plays with the swing, move up and down between those two levels so well. We also see some interesting sniping from the indoor area. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, and there's that Doomfist that I mentioned that we could see, and Akami now also matching Plato on the Reaper, but Maxwell sticking to this Tracer who's been able to dismantle the backlane as Matt Merck once again gets first blood against Akami, so Wrecking Ball getting first blood against a Reaper no less is very impressive as Kel takes down the Immortality field of River, and Plato gets the elimination onto River, so that's the main heals down. Hawaii needs to back off and go for a reset as Boise State begins to cap the point. Hawaii can't contest this without a main heals, and Matt is now taking down Plato. Kel taking down Say. Hawaii has to reset here.
And look at Maxwell, how well he's been doing. He actually, as soon as I say that, he gets taken out, of course, but already to 80% on his charge.
Yeah, so now Akami coming in with that double elimination, taking down Kel as well, not having a tank with the mech as well as their own Diva gets D-mech'd into Akami, taking down Bagel as well. This is looking like a very strong push for Hawaii, but they need to cap the point here. They just need to be able to clear it off Boise State members, and they are able to do so as Akami takes down Chosen as well. But Maxwell swapping over to the far is able to finally take down Akami after getting a triple by himself. And Say is also coming in with that Doomfist, taking down Plato. So it's a brawl on point right now. Boise State is looking to reset.
Yeah, it was very impressive that Maxwell was able to make such a presence because he was solo for a time before Bagel swapped over to the Mercy. So now with that pocket, there's going to be so much damage pushed through. And Boise State also has a few ultimates like the Death Blossom that can also do a lot of damage.
Yeah, the side of the ult economy, Boise State has the advantage for right now, but Hawaii can easily charge the back up, and now the Amplification Matrix is going to come out as well as the Sound Barrier to match the mines, and now all eyes are on River trying to stay alive against Matt Merck, but Matt Merck will come away with the kill out of Say takes down the Diva, and Plato coming out with a double Death Blossom, finishing off the Baby Diva as well. That should allow them to cap the point as Hawaii is continuing to get ult percentage. They get up to 52.
Ooh, I did not like the way that looked from Say there. Maybe he was just trapped in the indoor area, couldn't get back, but that is not a stagger that you want to see be put on because it allows Plato to take more favorable picks against Hawaii like the one he's trying right now.
Yeah, he's falling very low, almost locked. Hudson, a great shatter leading into 3 members of Boise State, leading to the elimination of Plato by Say, make that 2, taking down Bagel. That means Maxwell's going to have to play that much safer, not having his pocket mercy. He has Kel gets DMX in the back lane. It's just going to have to go for the suicide to reset. Now Boise State has to brawl on the point so they can just get that much more percentage on the point, and there it goes back to Hawaii.
This is such an improvement from Hawaii, managing to maintain the lead here. Now Boise State does have their next play if they want to use. They have the ability to zone off some stuff with that minefield, but they're also going to have to deal with this self-destruct.
Yeah, barely dodging it as Plato even gets the elimination on the Baby Diva. Maxwell coming out with the barrage, able to take down River as Matt Merck gets a 2-piece onto the Lucia as well as the Rhino Say is able to answer that with an elimination onto Plato, but that will be nearly a team wipe for Boise State. Just the respawn timers cheating them out of it.
But this is such a crucial point for Hawaii. They are so close to that 80% mark, which means that they are in final fight territory here. And with what they have online here, with this Death Blossom and Amplification Matrix going to be next online for them, they have the ways that they can get this victory. We'll see if they can start it out with a good pick, maybe against one of Boise State's DPSs or supports.
Yeah, Plato trying to get that cheeky pick and will get it onto Say. So that's another DPS down, quickly followed by Matt Merck, taking down Death Choke, losing that secondary support. And now Nap taking down Matt Merck. These are even trades. Plato went, or the Death Blossom was attempted by Akami, but ended up getting eliminated by Plato as Chosen takes down on the Rhine, quickly followed by River taking down Plato. Still constant trades as the Amplification Matrix comes out from Baptiste, but will lead to his fall by Chosen, quickly followed by Matt Berg taking down Maxwell taking down Nap, and Chosen taking down Deathstroke. That will be Boise State taking control.
Well, it's a win for the Broncos, but almost kind of a wake-up call, too, as Hawaii definitely looks like they are here to play as well. They do not want to be counted out. Of course, Plato, when you put a great DPS with him, with ultimates like a Death Blossom, this is what happens.
Yeah, absolutely great showing by Boise State. The double elimination from the Death Blossom leading into the triple on the Baby Diva. Well-deserved Boise State first win.
Well, Boise State is always looking for new talent to not only play on the actual teams, but production staff as well. Good grades, along, of course, with talent and eligibility, can improve your chances of success as well. To get more information on how to join Boise State's esports teams or their production staff, go to boisestate.edu/esports for more information. Well, that was quite an opening there, and what do you think? I just want to get a final word from you before we kind of quickly throw it over to a break between matches. What do you think was the main thing that allowed Hawaii to kind of rally back there at the end?
They definitely got a feel for the Boise State strat of how to deal with Matt Merck, who was causing so much issue in the backline with that Wrecking Ball, and also the target priority of as soon as they were able to take down someone like Plato, who was going for those cheeky plays, hiding around the corner with that Reaper, trying to get an easy pick. We saw Say with that Doomfist take him down and immediately turn his attention to one of the supports, which is why we saw Bagel usually fall immediately afterwards. So it was really good target recognition by Hawaii after a hard loss on the first control map to come back at it and be able to get that 50% on the point.
Well, Boise State, even though they got the first win, that performance from Hawaii at the end there should be enough of a caution. It is not a done deal. We are going to see how this best of 5 turns out. We'll be back with round 2 of it right after this message, so please stay tuned.
NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Welcome back to the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. You're currently watching our coverage of the opening of the Mountain West 2022 Overwatch tournament. Boise State is going up against Hawaii and has managed to get a win on round one. However, Hawaii showed a lot of fight in their first showing that shows that a victory for the Broncos might not be a foregone conclusion. So we're just going to see how the Broncos have to rally as they're ready to head into the second round here. I'm your host, Jacob Gem Mountain Palmer, joined by Brenner Bear Lad. We're ready to head into the second match of this best of five. We started out on control. Now we move over to hybrid, Brenner. And I don't know what is starting out this season because we are not seeing Kings Row at all tonight for the hybrid choice. Instead, 2 times in a row in the UNLV match we covered earlier tonight and the match Boise State is having right now, we're doing Eichenwald.
Yeah, Eichenwald is such a pleasant change in the hybrid map choice, and I'm so excited to see what these teams have brought to the table for this map of kind of the unique strategies they might have come up with, because we know Boise State loves their unique strategies on hybrid maps. We saw it on Kings Row. Hopefully they can bring it out on Eichenwald as well, especially to match how well UNLV performed on this map.
But the thing is with Eichenwald is, like I said before when we were covering UNLV, I always get my hopes up, and then I realize that it's normally just we only see this part of the map right here, as it seems like one of the teams just isn't able to take the first point. That really just kind of shows how tough it can be to get through that archway choke point, how important it is actually.
Yeah, and if anybody's going to be able to do it, it's going to be in this matchup, because if we look at the previous map of Control and Oasis, Hawaii definitely has the capabilities to win a team fight or two up against Boise State, so they could easily, in a single team fight, if they get a wipe or near a wipe, or will be able to cap that point. So now, with things kicking off, we can already see a Doomfist coming out from Hawaii, as well as an Echo and Soldier on the side of Boise State. So all eyes are going to be on the DPS players to try to get those picks onto the supports to swing the fight in their favor.
Well, Matt Merck already trying to flank Hawaii and just slam right down into them. And Hawaii does look like they have gotten past that first archway and are on to the point, which is an improvement that we saw, at least in terms of Fresno State going up against UNLV. But right now, Boise State is fighting back as their tanks are doing work, taking out Say and River. Akami, though, fighting back, as well as Nap to take out Chosen. So now it is even 4-4 again. So Hawaii looks like they are getting some sort of presence on this point.
Yeah, they're able to get the picks that they need as Plato takes down 2 more.
Yeah, that's going to be it. That is basically it. We were looking for the team wipe there, and that's going to be the finish for Boise State.
Yeah, Plato and the Soldier 76 is doing work right now, finishing up the remaining members of Hawaii, who are going a little bit for a team composition change now. Akami on the Tracer, River on the Moira, and Say now on the Cold Cassidy to try to answer the very well-defended point from Boise State. As Boise State is getting very close as well to their ults. Matt Merck already having the mines as nobody else is past 70%.
But I do like them using that Lucio speed boost to get onto the point, but Math is going to find himself brought down by Maxwell.
Boise State now going to pinch them in from behind. Also, with they're just going to force that diva right off the edge. Hawaii realizing they don't want to waste any more time. They're going to go for a full reset.
Yeah, they are going for those resets. Definitely saves them the time and feeding Boise State that extra ult percentage. But now Plato does have the sights online, whereas on the side of Hawaii, none of their ults are going to be charged in time for this fight. Neither tanks have theirs unless Math is able to land an amazing Flame Strike to charge that Shadow for this fight.
See Boise State Plato here just waiting on this tactical visor to bring out. They're going to have a lot of ultimates available, but Maxo's not going to need one to get his first pick. He's going to take out their Lucio. It looks like there goes out that copy from Maxwell is going to be brought onto their diva. Doesn't look like much is going to come of it, though. They're going to have their copy canceled. Now Akami is going to take out Maxwell. This could be a fight back from Hawaii, but some good sniping from Chosen is going to pick up a double and stop Hawaii's chances of taking the point yet again.
Yeah, kind of a wasted ult there from Hawaii, using that Diva Bomb to just kind of zone out. But Akami did get a great Pulse Bomb onto at least one member of Boise State. But once again, Hawaii's just going to have to go for the reset. And they got very split up. We saw the Lucio come flying out of that top tunnel, die immediately. The Reinhardt came flying out, died immediately. And then no one else came to follow them afterwards because they were still at the stairs at the other end of the hallway. Now they're going for the exact same push, just letting Boise State fire as much as they can down a single hallway.
And Chosen's going to take out a River. A lot of healing gone for Hawaii. Math is going to try to make something happen by using a Shatter, but it is all for naught. Anything is just canceled out by that Transcendence. Plato also using that tactical visor. Might have just been a bit of overkill there, but it still results in a team wipe against Hawaii.
I'm curious that at this point, if Naptosis has had more suicides than they have been eliminated, because they just keep jumping off the edge and they never die. So I find that very interesting of, you know, the Reinhardt in the front line is almost always the first one eliminated as he gets solo Gratimic fluxed.
Hawaii is using the last that they have, trying to use both of their healing ults, Coalescence and the Sound Barrier, but it isn't enough. Maxwell and Bagel just continue on the elimination train. Hawaii does get one tick, so that's something, but it isn't going to be quite enough to stop. What a hold from Boise State. I'm just convinced I'm never going to see the castle again in my lifetime. That castle just doesn't exist, okay? I can wall just half of it never exists when we ever see it. We're just going to be held into this village for eternity.
45% is the best Hawaii could do. As we take a look back on this replay of, I think it was their second to last push, or this was...
No, there's still 3 minutes left, so they had plenty of time.
So this was like their first push.
Yeah, it was. Yes, this was their first push, now that I see it.
Yeah, but the Reinhardt go charging in when the rest of his team was eliminated is just feeding ult percentage at that point. He was very much a solo Rein. We saw him pushing, and at the very end of that, he was tunnel visioning just to eliminate the Sigma.
I know.
But the rest of his team was dead. It was like,
and when you solo Rein, you get solo ulted as well.
Exactly. The solo Gratimic Flux of just, all right, he's out in front with no team behind him. Here you go. Like, I'll just knock him up for you, for the rest of the team to knock him down. And Hawaii needs to pull together and have a solid team push and have that target priority of, all right, for this next team fight, let's at least eliminate this one person without losing a person.
I know playing as a big, brawny German man with a rocket hammer might make you feel invincible, but it does not, in fact, mean you are invincible. You need to push with your team.
Yeah, and I believe, did he ever shatter? Maybe he shattered
He did a few times, but it didn't seem like it ever caught anyone.
Exactly. Which is, at least getting one person would be a ton of value, but I don't think that ever led to a significant change, as we can even see a Sombra in the back line.
Well, it doesn't look like it's going to really do anything right now. As Boise State, you know, the one person who can solo tank, you know, would probably be Matt Merck right here, who is just insane on this Wrecking Ball. We're going to see Boise State try to push through right here. They're going to, in fact, to rub salt in the wound, take the same route that Hawaii tried to take. And it looks like they're going to get away with it with some great play by Chosen. Death trying to make something happen by trying to even it up. But Boise State, they can't be stopped. They're going to show Hawaii how it's done and take this first point, winning the second map.
I feel like Hawaii there just fell to the same issue of objective is greater than kills, because no one was on the objective until Diva finally realized, oh, they're about to win. Contests it, loses mech, loses life, and Tracers tries to get there in time and still didn't make it either.
You see, player of the game, play of the game is going to be Plato here.
No surprise, he got a triple here on the Soldier, just having a point-and-click adventure. Oh, go quad. All right, I respect it.
One of the sponsors of Boise State Esports is the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. Now Boise State looking to be pretty unstoppable in their fight against Hawaii. It seemed like the little bit of life that we saw from Hawaii has just been squashed out, and I don't know what they can choose in terms of escort.
Yeah, I think it's the same issue we had with UNLV and Fresno State. Out of the maps we talked about, it ended up being Rialto when we thought it was going to be Havana. And I think here is going to be the same case for Hawaii is, all right, what maps play to their strengths? Well, we haven't seen a whole lot of strength out of them outside of the tail end of Oasis, where they did pretty well with the Doomfist. Okay, so maybe they could go something like Rialto then, which is a bit more closer range, but at the same time, Doomfist does very well in Dorado as well, but Boise State has a ton of practice on that map, which hopefully Hawaii is taking into account.
We'll see what Hawaii decides to choose. We will be back with the third match, possibly Boise State's last. If they sweep this, you're going to want to stay tuned. Will the Broncos start off their season right? We'll find out after this.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Welcome back to the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. You are currently watching our coverage of the opening of the Spring 2022 Mountain West Overwatch Champions. You're watching Boise State take on Hawaii. We're about ready to head into the third match of this best of 5. Boise State leads 2-0. We'll see if Hawaii can stage a comeback. On the map that they chose was Route 66, so
Brenner's favorite here, my co-caster. So, Brenner, tell us about kind of why you like this map and what you want to see from the Broncos.
It's a classic map that's been in the game for so long, and already chosen Bagel and Plato getting a triple there. And to add to the fun of this map, Boise State is also going to be playing their secondary roles for some extra practice here, which is why we've seen the names change for their according roles. Kel usually are opting, now on support. Maxwell usually DPS, now on to Baptiste. So a ton of exciting things coming forward as Chosen takes down Akami, Matt Merck takes down Math. And also on the side of Hawaii, we've had a swap out with Banana taking over for Death Joke.
And one thing I have to say that I'm seeing that is still a problem that we saw in Eichenwald that we're still seeing here from Hawaii is that we saw their Wrecking Ball just kind of go out, kind of solo tanking it, and immediately got walled off by Boise State's Mei. So even more so than now, you cannot afford to solo because this Mei is going to punish you.
Yeah, we can see that right here with this poor Wrecking Ball just getting frozen and walled off for the direction he wasn't even going. And so now Hawaii actually charging that Transcendence very quickly is going to pop it just to try to stay alive, but now freezing the D.Va, quickly throwing down the Blizzard, but a great pulse bomb is going to get a double onto Plato and Matt Merck. And Akami's going to follow that up with a triple onto Bagel, quickly followed by Matt taking down Maxwell. Hawaii won a team fight.
Yeah, that's a very nice play by Akami there. Kind of solo-ordered that and really brought it back into Hawaii's purview. But Boise State still has a lot as they're going to go up against, again, another solo Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, he's trying to flex on Matt Merck of how the Wrecking Ball is done as Chosen takes down Akami. He immediately afterwards, and Chosen's now going to follow that up with their Bob. Even stops it on the roof and even gets a great headshot with the nano boost to take down Say on that Echo, quickly followed by Maxwell taking down Math and Chosen demeching the D.Va with the Bob. As Maxwell finishes off Riverguard, getting a very quick, but that Tracer even continues to push the car in the back lane, just being the nuisance that she is.
Overall, the one thing for Boise State is they've been doing such a good job so far of using that ult economy, but that is not going to apply this time. They used basically everything they had to hold Hawaii at bay, so we'll see if without any ultimates up their pocket, they'll be able to hold this yet again.
Yeah, great headshot onto that Zenyatta. Did not lead to elimination as Akami wins the 1v1 against Matt Merck on the Tracer. So the Wrecking Ball goes flying in all by their lonesome to try to knock him up, but no team was behind him to get that damage on him. And there he goes, eliminated by Maxwell. As the fight continues now on the card, the D.Va 1v1 between Bagel and Nap happening will end in neither losing their mech, surprisingly. So the rest of the members of Boise State flew up to help as Matt Merck now with their own pulse bomb lands onto Banana, quickly followed by Chosen taking down River, Maxwell taking down Say, a Bagel taking down Akami, and Plato taking down Nap. So close to a team kill. He will finally get it at the tail end with the Shatter coming out for the Wrecking Ball. Now the D.Va Bomb coming out, and that will be it. A whole 64.71 meters for Hawaii.
It is more than we saw last time on Eichenwald, so I count your blessings, I suppose.
Yeah, in Eichenwald, they got a whole 45%, not even 40.
Oh, yeah, look at that Mei wall.
It was definitely a flex of, I'm not letting you go anywhere, as they freeze and got the elimination. So Boise State, even playing their secondary roles, is able to win out against Hawaii, who was not able to really get past the gas station. So now, with them having to go on the defense, what are you hoping to see from them?
Oh, you know, I want to see a little bit of that same punishing. You know, I think Matt Merck, you know, on this Wrecking Ball has gotten way too much mileage and has been playing way too aggressively for his own good. You know, he loves to flank the other team, and I would love to see some of that denial that Boise State just brought out against Hawaii on to Matt Merck in terms of a tank. You know, don't let people who use those aggressive flanks get away with it.
And we all know you want to see Roadhog.
Yes, that's a default there. So you've already won in my heart if
if they're playing secondary roles, it's definitely a possibility.
True, yes.
And
Boise State does.
Based off the audio cues, It is possible.
It is, and
the silhouettes.
they definitely have the skill to be able to land those hooks, which is always fun to watch. It's just my favorite part.
There he
of
is.
There he is. Okay, live up to my expectations as much as you can before you reach the gas station, because that's only a short
That's
walk
when
away.
the game's over.
There we go.
Math once again first eliminated in the team fight. Hey, quickly followed by Bagel taking down a Kami, and as well as Matt Merck now on the Soldier taking down both Nap and Say.
What?
Guys, the cart. Guys, the cart. We're not C9 here. Guys, the cart, please. Objective is greater than kills here. All right.
No, they just want to keep playing.
Tactical feeding. Tactical feeding. Go.
Oh man. Oh, they were having too much fun. They didn't realize they were seeing. What another great hook.
But will they get the baby diva? Nope.
No. Unfortunately, not on cooldown yet.
Oh!
No.
If this
You
was
see,
day
this
one
is-
Overwatch, it would.
You know, this whole match is just basically descended. We're not paying attention to the major team fight here. We're just watching who can Play-Doh hook.
Yeah, and he got the hook, but it did lead to his own elimination by Say as Kel took down Math once again. Math just out on his own trying to deny the card as one of the members of Boise State is just having the best time in his life. As a great wombo combo coming out from the Amplification Matrix and Maxwell on the Soldier 76. That is a very clean win from Boise State.
Well, it was the shortest thing that you know. It was just the look at Maxwell picking up the play of the game. Good for him.
The Baptiste that we see very few plays of the games coming out from him, but when you put a DPS player in that role, even eliminating the target before they get pinned by the Rhine, Boise State, a very dominating performance against Hawaii.
Well, Boise State, not wanting to be upstaged by UNLV, also puts on a very impressive performance for their first match of the season, going 3-0. And that's what it's all for right there. The championship trophy, which has been fought over so fiercely by both Boise State and UNLV. Both of those teams look quite insane. And now I have to say, who do we nominate as player of the game? Because I got to say that last round with everyone kind of playing their secondary roles might have thrown a wrench in some of the plans we had.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's hard not to say Maxwell, not just because he got player of the game on a Baptiste, no less, but also when they were playing the Tracer on Oasis, they were just such an issue that they became the one target priority of Hawaii to eliminate, and half the time they didn't even do that, which is why they did so bad on that first map. But come the second map, they improved very much, and we saw that in the case of them getting above 50% on the control map, as well as on the Baptiste. They did so well. They even got play of the game, which is something we never see from support players. So my hand has to go to Maxwell. And if we're talking about on the side of Hawaii, I have to give it to Say on the DPS. Doing the Doomfist and the Echo, they were getting most of the kills for Hawaii.
Well, those are Brenner's predictions. Now let's find out who indeed has been named the player of the game for Boise State's first Mountain West Overwatch match. It is, in fact, going to be Play-Doh who is given it, which is was one of the more default choices because of what a good DPS he is.
Yeah, did very well on the DPS role, especially on that Soldier 76 on Eichenwald, as we can see in the kill feed, getting that triple all by their lonesome. So very well deserved of Play-Doh getting the player of the game.
And that is the player of the game, brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful. Just like Idaho Central's helping members achieve financial success, Play-Doh is your ICCU player of the game, also known as Brian, majoring in economics. Always nice to kind of see what they are majoring in, just get a little bit of background on our esports athletes. Well, great job from Boise. Nonetheless, I could not have imagined more of a dominant performance, and so just some of the fun that they had in Route 66. They only had about a minute to play since they had so little to go, but they made the most of it, I gotta say.
Yeah, and here we thought it was going to be a pretty hard, even matchup after that second map of Oasis. Like, hey, maybe Hybrid's going to be really close. We'll have to wait and see, especially on Eichenwald, which was a huge excitement for us. And then Boise State came and clean swept the next two matches. But we got to see Eichenwald. We got to see Route 66. You got to see a Roadhog. It was a good matchup.
Well, you are not going to want to head off tonight because we are not quite done yet. We've got our very own head coach, Doc Haskell, who is going to give us his thoughts on the match we just saw and Boise State's overall outlook for the Mountain West season that's ahead of them. But before we do that, we'll leave you the top 5 plays of the game, brought to you by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. We'll give you the top 5 plays of the game. We'll be back with an interview of our Doc Haskell right after this. Stay tuned.
For their recording roles, Kel usually are opting, now on support, Maxwell usually DPS, now on the Baptiste. So a ton of exciting things coming forward as Chosen takes down Akami, Matt Merck takes down Math. And also on the side of Hawaii, we've had a swap out with Banana taking over for Death Joke. And charge them back up, and now the Amplification Matrix is going to come out, as well as the Sound Barrier to match the Mines. And now all eyes are on River trying to stay alive against Matt Merck, but Matt Merck will come away with the kill. Say takes down the Diva, and Plato coming out with a double Death Blossom, finishing off the Baby Diva as well. Exact same push, just letting Boise State fire as much as they can down a single hallway.
And Chosen's going to take out a River. A lot of healing gone for Hawaii. Math is going to try to make something happen by using a Shatter, but it is all for naught. Anything is just canceled out by that Transcendence. Plato also using that Tactical Vise Nap to take out Chosen. So now it is even 4-4 again. So Hawaii looks like they are getting some sort of presence on this point.
Yeah, they're able to get the picks that they need as Plato takes down 2 more.
Yeah, that's going to be it. That is basically it. We were looking for the team wipe there, and that's going to be the finish for Boise State.
Sadly, it did not lane in, so that will be negated. So one less thing Boise has to worry about. But Maxwell's going to answer it with his own pulse bomb onto River. Both supports going down. Akami finally able to take down Plato, so Boise State loses a single member, but make sure to answer that by taking out both tanks and making Hawaii go for another reset.
Welcome back to the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. You have just watched the opening to the Mountain West 2022 spring season, and I could not have asked for kind of a more better opening because we got to see the 2 top teams, the teams that have met each other so often in the finals, UNLV and Boise State, make their opening salvos in terms of collegiate Overwatch. Both teams had incredible wins, and we're here with Doc Haskell, like you saw earlier, to kind of pick up the pieces and see and talk about what we have going up for the rest of this semester. I'm your host, Jacob Jim Palmer. Like I said, I'm joined by Doc Haskell. Doc, a great win for Boise State, but also a great performance from UNLV we saw earlier. It's just kind of the elephant in the room that these 2 teams are going to be destined to meet each other again this season. So what do we have looking forward to in that regard? How are the Broncos preparing?
Well, I'll tell you, you're right. It does feel like a collision course. There are some really good teams in the Mountain West again. Fresno State deserves a ton of credit. Hawaii continues to get better and better. They surprised us on a couple of fronts tonight. But it does feel like a collision course with UNLV. So they've got a little bit of a roster change. Our Kevin Durant, or whatever name he goes by, now has graduated and he's moved on. But Qwerty is still there. Obviously, their spiritual leader in Slamtaro also still there, but they've got some new folks, so we don't know as much about them. But we do know that they just want to kick our butts.
Yeah, and their DPS is, when you're kind of talking about,
it's a UNLV ace, but brought to you by Boise State,
graduated. We were kind of wondering would DPSs be able to show up, and they certainly did in that matchup. But to talk about Boise State's team and the talent that they bring, I just want to give a little bit of an anecdote. I was actually at home one day or visiting my parents, and we were just kind of hanging around the living room, and all of a sudden my dad, who doesn't really follow esports at all, said, "Hey, are you aware that Kellen McGurkin is rated like one of the top off tanks in Overwatch in the nation?" And I was just stunned, and that just shows how good the player you want to talk about, Kel, is when you can get someone who doesn't really pay attention to esports at all be talking about you because of how good that is. I'm just saying, from my personal perspective, he's made quite a name for himself.
He's a top 500 player, NA, but he is a top 10 person, NA, and one of the best possible people we could ever get to be a part of our program. It just turns out he's infinitely talented at his role, nice and even-keeled all the time, really focused on what's happening, brings his teammates in, and they can get scattered from time to time. He's an amazing leader. We've got some famous Kellens here at Boise State. Certainly there's a Kellen Moore, but I would argue that equally, if not even more talented than quarterback Kellen Moore, Kellen McGurkin.
Wow, you're making a statement there. You're putting your foot down.
Absolutely, and McGurkin's got infinitely more wins than Moore.
Well, yeah, we do play a lot more games. It's all through the week, not just once a week when you can hope that you're playing at home. But overall, as we're looking here tonight, this is the match against Hawaii, who kind of surprised us with this kind of rally they staged back on Oasis. If we're talking about, kind of the other teams, because I think that Boise State and UNLV has been taking up so much oxygen in the conversation, what are some other sleeper teams or teams that are lined up in the Mountain West that we also want to pay attention to?
Well, gosh, we don't know nearly as much about Colorado State. We were supposed to play them, but the start of the schedule didn't work out, so we're going to get to play them here pretty soon. We know that San Diego and San Jose are very good teams in their own right. Nevada chose not to enter a team in the Mountain West this year, so we're just kind of waiting to see who develops. Kind of watching some of the matches when we can. We get to broadcast them here, so we get a chance to see who folks are. But everybody brings a little something different. And, we may struggle against a team that UNLV doesn't struggle against. But, when we bring those two teams together, they're going to bring their own talents and failings together as well. We'll see how it mixes out. So, I mean, really, there are 11 great schools. I think there could be any of 4 teams that make it to the finals this year. We include ourselves as one of those. But we've got a target on our back. Everybody wants to eliminate us.
All right, Doc, I'll leave you with this final conundrum that has been plaguing me here on desk, and that's, whenever we get to hybrid, it's been, Kings Row is usually chosen. And I was so thrilled to see Eichenwald be brought up, a different choice. But it seems every time we see Eichenwald, we get stuck in that stupid village the first time. Yep. The other team we're just not seeing them be able to take the first point. So the question is, how do you take that first point? Because I want to see the castle again. The castle was cool. I miss it.
Right. We talk about it a lot. You have to win that first fight decisively and in the shortest amount of time possible. Right? Because the respawns are in the way that they are, if you're attacking and you win that fight decisively, you get both of the supports out of there and you get at least one of the tanks, you can roll and take that point. But if you stagger, if you trade, if you go up one, it's not enough. You have to really, really dominate. You have to win a big fight, which is why we focus on more of a spam comp, and we're coming at angles so that they can't win that decisive fight.
Well, that's kind of a little bit of extra Doc's keys to the game. Hopefully we can see that castle again. I'm looking forward to all you other teams there. Please show us that there's more than just half to this map, because there's a lot of fun moments later on.
Let's get to the bridge. I love the bridge.
Yeah, the bridge is also great too. Well, thank you so much, Doc, for giving us an insight of what we have to look forward to for the Mountain West Overwatch Championship. And you're not going to want to miss any part of it. If these 2 opening matches have been any indication, then you watching on Twitch right now are going to want to follow every update. So please stay tuned to Boise State's Twitch page. You can also go to boisestate.edu/esports for more information about the program itself. But that's going to do it for us tonight. We want to thank you for joining us. We'll be back later on with more great esports action. Always check into us every week, because you never know what kind of off-brand stuff we might be doing, or wacky kind of house cups that we might be staging. But we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for watching. We all hope you stay safe and have a good one.